really dangerous territory with this administration that is, just aggressively trying to clamp down on free speech. I don't know how else to characterize it. And here we are, the free speech network. And that's why we need your help. It just, it doesn't work without you. This network does not work without you. You fund it. It's a small organization that's just doing great and big work. So, and Trump didn't hijack the Republican Party, by the way. He finished its transformation into a tool for billionaires and corporate power. From Nixon to Reagan to Citizens United, they built the machine that made Trump possible. And now with projects like 2025, they're preparing to finish the job. That's why the book that I wrote, The Last American President, which you can get an autographed copy of with a $144 gift to Free Speech TV today, it matters. It lays out how this system was built, how Trump weaponized empathy's absence, and how his embrace of autocrats shattered America's standing in the world. But it also issues a call to reform, to resist, and to remember. Democracy isn't something we have, it's something we do together. And that's where our Free Speech TV family comes in. We're not just viewers, we're community, holding the line for truth and compassion in a media landscape bought and sold by corporations. We share the belief that democracy only works when people care about each other, and we're committed to making sure that message doesn't go dark. So I'm asking you to be part of that commitment. Make your pledge to Free Speech TV right now, 877-378-8669, or go to freespeech.org. The Last American President is available through Free Speech TV now, even before it's released to the public through this pledge. But what you'll really be doing is keeping truth alive, keeping democracy alive, keeping America alive. So please join this fight now. Call 877-378-8669 or go to freespeech.org right now. With a $20 gift, there's the mystery bumper sticker or the mystery tote bag. It may be more than $20. I'm not sure. Somebody told us that, but double check. With a $144 gift, there's the autographed copy of The Last American President. And today is double match day. Whatever you give will be double matched. Your $100 becomes $200. Your $50 becomes $100. Your $10 becomes $20. Your $1,000 becomes $2,000. With a $240 gift, I think I mentioned $144 for the Last American President, $240 gift, the virtual meet and greet. With a $250 gift, there's the mystery bundle. Free Speech has accumulated all these things over the years. With a $1,000 gift, there's the in-person meet and greet where you can come to Portland and hang out with us. So there's a lot of stuff, a lot of, some great premiums there. But most importantly, by contributing to Free Speech TV, you're literally donating your time and effort. This is your stepping up and saying, no, I'm in favor of free speech more generally, because Free Speech TV is where free speech is happening, where we dare to say the truth about what's going on, where we dare to challenge power, speak truth to power. It's getting more and more rare. More and more people are getting frightened and threatened. New York Times getting sued, their reporters getting sued, ABC getting sued, CBS getting sued. I mean, these are very, very dark times for this country. We're facing a very challenging time. So please call now, 877-378-8669, or go to freespeech.org and make your contribution, knowing that it will be doubled today. It's Friday, it's double match day. So please do whatever you can to help out, 877-378-8669, or go to freespeech.org and make your contribution now. There's some great premiums, but far more than that, you'll know that you are helping keep something really, really vital alive. So thank you so much, and onward with the program.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
Hey, I'm back. And boy, what a morning. What a crazy, crazy morning. A lot to talk about today. The day America stepped over the edge. I think yesterday was a major turning point for our country. I really do. And, we'll see how this plays out. But I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. Also, 1,800 men went into Alligator, Alcatraz. Only 600 came out. They were not released. They were not deported. They have simply vanished. No one knows where they went, or no one will say. Jimmy Kimmel suspended for calling the Kirk shooter MAGA. Don Jr., it turns out, did the same sort of thing with the Minnesota shootings. Initially blamed them on a guy who he said was a Democrat, or words to that effect. And in a Nazi-like moment, it's being reported that the FBI may label trans people as violent extremists. History tells us where this one ends. In the second hour of the program, silencing the press, targeting the people, the pyramid of authoritarian violence. Some thoughts on that. Also, McCarthyism is back, baby. And the Department of Defense higher-ups are considering a recruitment campaign to explicitly target fans of Charlie Kirk for government work. What could possibly go wrong? And Trump is violating his own executive order. We'll talk about that in the third hour of the program. Cities are pushing back against ICE. I'll tell you what's happening right here in Portland. They're threatening to shut down the ICE facility here. And geeky science. Do fatty foods scramble your mind? So there's a lot going on. My op-ed today over at HartmannReport.com is pretty straightforward. It's titled "The Day America Stepped Over the Edge." And I think yesterday was a threshold moment, or today, basically this week. I think this is just a major threshold moment. When Trump was just doing corrupt stuff, just getting an $800 million jet from Qatar in exchange for being nice to them, or, cutting deals with countries that, he would reduce tariffs on, but they're, building Trump towers and things like that, Trump has apparently, according to the reports, the news reports, made about $5 billion since he became president. The average person didn't understand that. It's nuanced, it's business, it's like, when he violated the Hatch Act, when he hustled Teslas from in front of the White House, this is a crime, 2 years in prison for violating the Hatch Act. But, again, the average person didn't get that. But the average person gets who Jimmy Kimmel is. Everybody knows who Jimmy Kimmel is. Everybody understands what's going on with this and what's going on here. And everybody, I think, gets the shakedown aspect of this, that when CBS wanted to do a merger, I think I've been saying CBS with Jimmy Kimmel. I guess it's ABC. I've got to fix that in my daily take. But when it was Stephen Colbert with CBS, they wanted to do their merger and couldn't. Or maybe I've got it backwards. Maybe that was ABC. But in any case, and now Jimmy Kimmel with his network, which I believe is CBS. It's just clear to people, that they're essentially saying, nice little network you got there. Be a shame if something happened to it. And this is just dangerous stuff. And I think that the reason why I think that this is a turning point for America is because the average person can understand that. Oh, they're taking the comedians off the air because the president doesn't like what they're saying. I mean, Trump came out and said it on Air Force One yesterday as he was flying home from England. They can't criticize me, or words to that effect. This is the moment. Here's the problem. Let me just back up a little bit. Here's the problem. The average person didn't know how to answer this question. The question is, how do you know when your country has lost its freedom? The average person thinks that your country has lost its freedom when there's tanks in the streets and goose-stepping soldiers and they're hauling away Jews and stuff like that. But that's not typically how it happens, although, for people in Washington, D.C., that's exactly what they're experiencing. But that's not typically how it happens. How it happens is when they shut down the comedians. Putin in 2012, as I recall, banned Putin puppets. There were puppets. There was a popular TV show that had puppets on it. It was a comedy show, and they had one of their puppets was a Putin puppet, and they made fun of Putin. And he outlawed it. And, everybody gets that that's not something that happens in free societies. In fact, there's let me find it here. Here we go. In Azerbaijan, if you criticize the leader, you can get up to 2 years of corrective labor. In Lebanon, if you criticize the leader, it's a $66,000 fine. In Venezuela, if you criticize the leader, you can spend 40 months in prison. In Poland, for a while, if you criticize the leader, 3 years in prison. In Turkey, 4 years in prison. In Cameroon, $42,260 in fines. In Bahrain, up to 7 years in prison. In Kuwait, permanent exile. In Thailand, up to 15 years in prison. In Iran, 74 lashes. In Indonesia, up to 5 years in prison. I mean, this is the company that apparently we're keeping? That you go to jail if you criticize the leader, or that you get, you lose your livelihood, that you lose your life savings, that you get wiped out, that you can't be on the air, you can't broadcast? I think the average person is right now looking at this going, whoa, this is not what I signed up for. Jimmy Kimmel made fun of Joe Biden. Joe Biden never threatened him. He made fun of Barack Obama. Barack Obama never threatened him. This is what comedians do. They speak truth to power. There's a reason why back, in the days of kings, there were court jesters. The court jester was the one person in the court who had the absolute legal right to ridicule the king and to make jokes about the king. Why? Because the king needed to know what the average people were saying. The king needed to know what people were thinking. This was kind of the relief valve. This was where they understand, where the king and the leaders of the kingdom understood what was going on. That tradition continues, but it sure looks to me like it's on the edge of vanishing. And if it vanishes, America isn't going to be America anymore. This is such a dangerous, dangerous moment. An attack on Jimmy Kimmel is something everybody can understand, and that's why I think that we're genuinely at a turning point. So, what say you? I'll get to your calls in a little bit. So stick around. I've got a little more news for you as well. So stick around. We'll be right back. It's 14 and a half minutes past the hour.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
Talk media for all of us. We'll be right back. And welcome back. Richard in Houston, Texas, listening on KPFT. Hey, Richard, what's on your mind today?
Thanks for all you do, Tom. I'm ashamed that we didn't fill up the building when you came here to Houston a few months ago. But what I wanted to say is, right when this happened, I told my wife, this is a Herschel Greenspan moment, Ernst Baum Rath, if you will. Greenspan was a 17-year-old young man, Polish Jew, who shot and killed Ernst Baum Rath. You know this as well as I do. Which it was a tinderbox when it happened, and it set off Kristallnacht. And when it happened, I said, "That's what." And sure enough, that's what they're using. They're just like then they misconstrue.
Oh, Richard just hung up on himself. Sorry, Richard. Gareth in Omaha, Nebraska. Hey, Gareth, what's on your mind today?
Hi, Tom. So looking at the gerrymandering fight happening in Texas and California and going around, I think it would be better to expand the House. That would reset everyone's gerrymandering right away. Repeal the 1911 and 1929.
You realize that would require both the House and Senate to vote in a big way. I mean, it would require 2/3 vote in the Senate. I mean, it's just not going to happen. I understand and agree with you, Gareth, but it ain't going to happen.
But it's something that might be able to be sued by Governor Newsom and former Governor Schwarzenegger, that could be taken as a lawsuit that representation has artificially been bottlenecked since 1911.
Well, that would require the Supreme Court to go along with it, and that's not going to happen either.
You might say that, but has anybody tried recently?
No, and I'm not opposed to people trying. I'm all in favor of efforts like that. But I think the more practical reality is that the Republicans are doing everything they can right now to rig the 2026 election. We've got 14 months until the next election, and they are going out of their way with these gerrymandering efforts and whatnot to rig that election. And it looks like they're going to succeed, frankly. I mean, they've got 5 states now that are going to be, they're going to add probably as many as 10 seats to the Republican column. And the only way we can beat that is to show up in absolutely massive, overwhelming numbers. And I don't see any alternative, Gareth. And show up in the streets and be raising hell and demanding that Democratic leadership start speaking out about the threats to democracy and what's going on in this country.
You can agree on that, but at the same time, the Democratic leadership is currently trying to ban mid-decade redistricting, and they can't do that either. Why not fight back with something that would actually fix the root problem?
Oh, like I said, I'm all in favor of it, but you're not going to be able to do that successfully until you've got power. Right now, what we've got to be working on is how to get that power. You've correctly identified a major structural problem, and the other one is the Senate, of course. The Republicans who control the United States Senate right now only represent about 40% of Americans. 60% of Americans are represented by the Democrats in the Senate. I mean, that's just crazy. But, it's the way the system is. We could fix all these things, but they're big fixes that are going to require a lot of legislative power. Gareth, thanks for the call. It's 18 and a half minutes past the hour. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds. Stay with us. Missed my opening rant today? It's usually published over at HartmannReport.com, where you can read it and share it with your friends for free. Check it out, HartmannReport.com. Back in 1968, when Lyndon Johnson was president, Earl Warren resigned from the Supreme Court. He was a liberal, even though he had been appointed by Eisenhower. Johnson wasn't able to replace him, in part because of Republican opposition in the Senate. And so when Nixon came in, he had this opening, but he wanted to have 2 openings. He wanted to get rid of Abe Fortas, who was the most liberal member of the court. So he had his Attorney General, John Mitchell, start an investigation into Abe Fortas's wife. Now, there was nothing there. There was no smoke at all. She had done absolutely nothing wrong, and history has proven that. But they were going to drag her before a grand jury and possibly before Congress and just, drag her through the mud. And this caused Abe Fortas to resign, and that gave Nixon 2 openings, and that's how the court turned to the right. I'm suggesting that Democrats should do the same thing with Justice Thomas. I've got an op-ed about it at Hartmann Report. You can read it over there. Check it out.
First they come for the voices in power, then they reach for the ones who explain. Every echo of truth grows uncertain, every silence a mark of the strain. When silence becomes law, the guns replace the word. When silence becomes law, the people go unheard. The pyramid is shaking, each level pulls us down. When silence becomes law, the cracks run through the ground.
Then it's past the hour.
The press.
Welcome back. 1,800 men went into Alligator, Alcatraz. Only 600 came out. What's going on with this? The Dissent and Bloom reporting Alligator, Alcatraz, or Auschwitz, or whatever you want to call it, was supposed to be shut down. There was this lawsuit by the Muskogee tribe and Miccosukee tribe, excuse me. And a federal judge ordered that the facility be shut down on August 21st. They were given 60 days to dismantle the camp, and they didn't wait. They started to divide up the detainees, and some were sent to ICE-run prisons, others were deported. They said that the camp would be empty by the end of August. But the appeals court reopened the camp on September 4th. And so now only about two-thirds of the detainees, or only about a third of the detainees are still accounted for. About two-thirds have vanished. And it turns out that 800 have no record at all of where they went, apparently. They vanished from the system like they were never there at all. Another 450 are listed with no location and only the message, "Call ICE for details." 1,200 human beings vanished? What is going on here? ICE blames the state, Florida blames ICE, and no one is providing names. These families are just like bereft. It's, truly baffling. Then on top of that, Jimmy Kimmel has been suspended for calling the Kirk shooter MAGA, at least theoretically. I think we all realize that the reason Jimmy Kimmel got suspended was because, this company wants to do a merger. But MAGA supporters have done apparently the same thing. In June, when Melissa Hartmann was assassinated and her husband, Donald Trump Jr., went on the air and said that Mr. Bolter, who was the shooter, the assassin, said that he was, quote, seems to be a leftist and is a Democrat. This was Don Jr. Bolter had drawn up a list of all the Democrats he was going to assassinate. He'd gone to several houses of elected Democrats. He had shot the one husband and wife. They survived. He killed, of course, Melissa Hartmann and her husband. Elon Musk accused the left of being, quote, murderously violent, despite the shooter likely being on the right. This was when Melissa Hartmann was assassinated. Laura Loomer called for Tim Walz to be, quote, detained by the FBI and interrogated. Mike Lee tweeted out, "This is what happens when Marxists don't get their way." So if Jimmy Kimmel is being taken off the air for saying that the shooter was was MAGA, when it appears he wasn't, although we still don't know for sure. He grew up certainly in a MAGA family, but you can't guilt by association. But if Jimmy Kimmel is being taken off the air for saying that the shooter in that case was MAGA, then why wasn't Don Jr. and Laura Loomer and Mike Lee and all these folks called out for saying that the guy who assassinated Melissa Hartmann was a lefty, when it turns out he wasn't. He was a hardcore righty. And now finally, in this Nazi-like moment, it appears that the FBI is preparing to designate transgender people as violent extremists. They, Attorney General Pam Bondi said after the Kirk murder, are, quote, putting this crazy ideology in our schools. She said this is a cult of gender ideology and called it the radical left. 2 days before Kirk was killed, Trump condemned transgender insanity. He said the radicals on the left, they want transgender for everyone. So, and it looks like they're trying to come up with a new designation. They're going to call them nihilistic violent extremists, NVEs, which is replacing the designation that the Biden administration had come up with for these, right-wing shooters, which was called the anti-authority, anti-government violent extremists, AGAAVE, because that included the January 6th rioters and the Proud Boys and all these other right-wing groups. So they've come up with this new one. And of course, on his first day in office, Trump had signed an executive order saying that sex is, quote, an immutable biological reality of male and female. So here we are. This is, the State Department has stopped issuing passports with an X. Additional executive orders have been signed to restrict access to gender-affirming care for minors. which the administration labels chemical mutilation. Ken Klippenstein is writing about this. He's with the Midas Touch folks over on Substack, kenklippenstein.com. Aaron in the Morning also writing about it. Aaron in the Morning over on Substack. This is wild. I mean, they're going after trans people. You'll recall the first thing the Nazis did, the first thing Hitler did was go after trans people. Magnus, what was his name? Hirschfeld. His Sexology Institute in Berlin. That was the first place that was where they burned all those books. Are we there yet? It's increasingly appearing like it, and I think average people are figuring it out. What say you? It's Anything Goes Friday. I'll pick up your calls on the other side of the break. Stick around.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 202-808-9925.
And by the way, thanks to Alex Lawson for filling in for me yesterday. I had a minor medical procedure. All is well. And I appreciate it, Alex. Thank you. All right, we're doing the Free Speech TV fundraiser right now. It's Friday. I'm back. It's been a crazy morning. I'm sorry I was on BBC and all that. Anyway, we really need your help. Free Speech TV needs your help and needs your help right now. Just look at the media landscape. Look at Jimmy Kimmel getting fired or getting suspended or whatever you want to call it. Stephen Colbert, same deal. This is dangerous stuff. We are entering some really, really dangerous territory with this administration that is, just aggressively trying to clamp down on free speech. I don't know how else to characterize it. And here we are, the Free Speech Network. And that's why we need your help. It just, it doesn't work without you. This network does not work without you. You fund it. It's a small organization that's just doing great and big work. So, and Trump didn't hijack the Republican Party, by the way. He finished its transformation into a tool for billionaires and corporate power. From Nixon to Reagan to Citizens United, they built the machine that made Trump possible. And now with projects like 2025, they're preparing to finish the job. That's why the book that I wrote, The Last American President, which you can get an autographed copy of with a $144 gift to Free Speech TV today, it matters. It lays out how this system was built, how Trump weaponized empathy's absence, and how his embrace of autocrats shattered America's standing in the world. But it also issues a call to reform, to resist, and to remember. Democracy isn't something we have, it's something we do together. And that's where our Free Speech TV family comes in. We're not just viewers, we're community, holding the line for truth and compassion in a media landscape bought and sold by corporations. We share the belief that democracy only works when people care about each other, and we're committed to making sure that message doesn't go dark. So I'm asking you to be part of that commitment. Make your pledge to Free Speech TV right now, 877-378-8669, or go to freespeech.org. The Last American President is available through Free Speech TV now, even before it's released to the public through this pledge. But what you'll really be doing is keeping truth alive, keeping democracy alive, keeping America alive. So please join this fight now. Call 877-378-8669 or go to freespeech.org right now. With a $20 gift, there's the mystery bumper sticker or the mystery tote bag. It may be more than $20. I'm not sure. Somebody told us that, but double check. With a $144 gift, there's the autographed copy of The Last American President. And today is double match day. Whatever you give will be double matched. Your $100 becomes $200. Your $50 becomes $100. Your $10 becomes $20. Your $1,000 becomes $2,000. With a $240 gift, I think I mentioned $144 for the Last American President, $240 gift, the virtual meet and greet. With a $250 gift, there's the mystery bundle. Free Speech has accumulated all these things over the years. With a $1,000 gift, there's the in-person meet and greet where you can come to Portland and hang out with us. So There's a lot of stuff, a lot of, some great premiums there. But most importantly, by contributing to Free Speech TV, you're literally donating your time and effort. This is your stepping up and saying, no, I'm in favor of free speech more generally. Because Free Speech TV is where free speech is happening, where we dare to say the truth about what's going on, where we dare to challenge power, speak truth to power. It's getting more and more rare. More and more people are getting frightened and threatened. New York Times getting sued, their reporters getting sued, ABC getting sued, CBS getting sued. I mean, this is just, these are very, very dark times for this country. We're facing a very challenging time. So please call now, 877-378-8669, or go to freespeech.org and make your contribution, knowing that it will be doubled today. It's Friday, it's double match day. So please do whatever you can to help out, 877-378-8669, or go to freespeech.org and make your contribution now. There's some great premiums, but far more than that, you'll know that you are helping keep something really, really vital alive. So thank you so much, and onward with the program. Did you know that every weekday we send out an email before the show giving you all the topics coming up so you can be fully informed and ready to interact with our program? Or that after the show we send out Sue's Stack, a list of every topic I've discussed along with clickable hot links to every source of information I've shared with you on the air? It's all completely free and available over at thom.tv, THOM.tv. Check it out.
They took the stage, they cut the mic, the voice that spoke in the dead of night, a joke too sharp, a truth too near. Now freedom fades, replaced by fear. This is the last laugh before the silence, the final spark before it dies. When they can cage the sound of laughter, they'll come for every word, every lie. The flag still waves, but the seams are torn.
Welcome back, 35 minutes past the hour. Yep, it's the last laugh, when the last laugh goes silent. And that's the very real danger here. So what's on your mind today? Diane in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Hey, Diane, what's up?
Hi, Tom. I'm glad you're well.
Thank you.
I would like to make the point that you can't make it. You can't speak up. The private citizens can't speak up. Even comedians can't speak up because they can be fired. The only people that can speak up are the representatives and the senators. They can't be fired.
That's correct. And in
up to
fact,
them.
the speech and debate clause in the Constitution prevents them from being prosecuted as well.
Yes. So it's their responsibility to protect our freedom. We can't do it in a sense of we'd be fired or thrown in jail or whatever. They can't be. So it all falls on them. And you said 3 times to Congressman Pochan when he was in, what are they doing? And he dodged it. He didn't have anything to say. 3 times he dodged you because his hands were empty. And what I'm saying is they should be organizing. We've got 14 months until the elections. They should have things organized by now because we need to organize headquarters. We need to organize people, leaders. And this takes time to develop relationships and gather people together. And they are failing us. The Democrats are failing us. And the thing, we should have a slogan. All we have to do is pick up the Second Bill of Rights. That has something for everybody, every generation in a family. And throw that up and say, this is what we will give you, the Second Bill of Rights. Rewrite it for modern times. Yeah. And offer that. And you know people would vote for it, especially after going through what's going through now. And you're right, everyone is afraid, and they have a right to be afraid for speaking up or demonstrating or doing whatever. But the Republican or the Democrat senators and gosh, I'm so angry. The congressmen and the senators should be speaking up. They're failing us. And the leadership of our Democratic Party is failing us. Schumer and Jeffries is.
I get it. To Congressman Pochan's credit, he didn't dodge the question entirely. He said, I'm speaking up. I mean, he's been going around speaking in red districts. He's been speaking out loudly.
But you were asking about the leadership.
I know, and he can't control the leadership, and that's the problem.
What did he have to report back about? Nothing.
Yeah, I know.
Really, we need people with backbone.
And
I don't know why they're hiding.
And they're
safe.
And I pointed out we've got a problem with this consultant class that basically owns and runs the Democratic Party that came along with the Clintonistas. And it's the Carvilles of the world, although I think he may be out of that business. But the bottom line is that these people are, we've got right now running the Democratic Party, we've got people who are basically administrators, and what we need are warriors. We need a war room here, Diane.
It's the thing is, Trump even does things that only Congress can give him permission to do, the money to do. And he just looks at us and says, what are you going to do about it?
Exactly.
What are you going to do about it?
I know, we've got a bully in the White House. I get it, Diane. I totally get it.
Protection, and we're not getting it.
I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. Diane, thank you for the call. Hunter in Klamath Falls, Oregon. Hey, Hunter, what's on your mind today?
Holy moly. A lot of things. Anyway, let's see. Oh, God, I can't believe I can't talk. Anyway.
It says here you called about Jimmy Kimmel and the loss of free speech.
Yeah, that was, really what he brought up was more to the fact that Donald Trump was not listening to the people, that were following Jimmy was Kirk guy, no, never mind.
Okay.
What I really wanted to call you about was on your broadcast on YouTube, could you put your whole show on? Because I like the people that call in, and I notice you don't.
We put up clips. The entire show is available over at tom.tv. So, Hunter, thanks for the call. Beth in Chicago. Hey, Beth, what's on your mind today?
Hey, Tom. So I come from a 30-year veteran of the film industry where I'm a union set decorator of 30 years.
Cool.
So I just got last night. So I can tell you, and about the lady that's very upset that called before, I can tell you I'm staring at a letter that was sent to my email from the Hollywood Labor Joint Statement on Jimmy Kimmel. Mm-hmm. And above, the logos are the Writers Guild of America, IATSE, which I've been a member of for 30 years, the DGA, Teamsters and SAG-AFTRA,
which I'm a member of.
Which is, for those out there who don't know, it's the Screen Actors Guild.
Yep.
So they, it's dated September 18th, and it's titled "Hollywood Labor Joint Statement on Jimmy Kimmel," and they say all these things, stand up, blah blah blah. But what really, really caught my eye was Chris Hayes on MSNBC the other night did a really great journalistic investigation on the oligarchy that is taking over media giants, right?
Yep.
And so, by the way, CBS is Colbert, and ABC, for the record, is
Kimmel. I know. I
Kimmel.
just corrected my daily take. I wrote it last night.
No problem.
I was still a little dopey.
I just work very closely. I've been on all these lots. I work very closely. I am an activist.
Mm-hmm.
So when I see the last, sort of statement from the joint Hollywood labor statement on Jimmy Kimmel, it's very weak, because I know and you know that the only thing that's going to help us against these oligarchy, pro-MAGA, pro-Trump companies that are buying up the media giants, along with the pro-MAGA FCC, is just disastrous. So I'll just read you this, if I can, the last two sentences of the letter I was sent last night from the Hollywood Labor Joint Statement on Jimmy Kimmel. It says, finally, media companies have a responsibility to defend their workers and the integrity of the stories they tell. All broadcasters must stand firm in defense of free expression and the First Amendment, not capitulate to a policy of political appeasement. I understand that woman's frustration. I come from the industry, though, and I also researched the hell out of all this. And when I listen, you might want to look back at Chris Hayes. Chris Hayes on MSNBC did this piece where he literally dissects it piece by piece of the oligarchy, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that was a great piece?
Yeah, and how this is exactly what Orban did in Hungary. It's exactly what Putin did in Russia. It's exactly what Erdogan did in Turkey. Chris Hayes pointed out that have your wealthy oligarchs who are on your side buy the media, basically. And now you've got X owned by Elon Musk, formerly Twitter. You've got Facebook owned by Mark Zuckerberg, who sat next to Trump in the White House a couple days ago. You've got the Washington Post owned by Jeff Bezos. And you've got ABC now about to be owned, I guess, now by the Ellison family, big MAGA supporters.
Yeah, and we only subscribe, people that are, really into the activism, is subscribe to Substack and then to certain people. Mm-hmm. And the last thing I want to say is that I have an idea. I have an idea that it might move in the direction of, I live in Chicago, big city for comedy, second city, mm-hmm. literally, gave birth to a lot of famous, comedians. Well, let's just go back to live. F them, and, go live wherever you can with comedians that have free speech, and let them try to bust us. But I honestly don't believe, unless we get legislation and we use all the powers of our lawyers in these Hollywood labor, all the ones that I named, if we use the lawyers and use legislation, that's our only chance, and going live.
Yeah.
Live.
Yeah, going nuclear.
And I say, go ahead and arrest me, because I don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you can't use language like that on the air, Beth. My apologies, but I totally get what you're saying. 45 minutes past the hour. We'll be back with more of your calls here on Anything Goes Friday in this dark week for American democracy and free speech and the First Amendment. Stick around.
You're listening to Thom Hartmann. Visit ThomHartmann.com for audio and video archive.
Defending America from the censors. I'll be right back with your calls. And welcome back, Chris in Littleton, Colorado. Hey, Chris, what's up?
Yeah, good morning, Tom. We are the billions. They are the few. Activism works. Elon Musk is now number 2. Larry Ellis is the richest guy in the world now.
Yeah. No,
Billionaires.
And now he owns ABC.
Billionaires' power comes from money. They get their money from people spending. The people's biggest power is economic. We can change the world for the better just by spending our money differently.
Mm-hmm.
Kimmel and Colbert got fired because Trump didn't like their jokes. But guess what? The people can stop watching the networks that fired them forever. And people can use farmers markets, not big grocery corporations. Fossil fuels are destroying the planet. People can drive an electric car for a third the cost. They can use a heat pump to heat and cool their homes. They can use solar and save their entire utility bill. And being gouged by big banks with high interest and fees, people can use a credit union or a local community bank and get better rates and help their community. And they can invest in green funds or socially conscious funds and make a good return and help the world, not harm it.
Yeah, no, I get all that, Chris. I totally get all that. Who's going to organize this?
Well, people just need to organize their own finances. They can set up a whole entire list of places that they won't spend at.
Yeah.
And,
no, I get it. I'm all in favor of boycotts. I always have been. I question their viability, but I get it. Chris, thank you for the call. Scott in Charlevoix, Michigan. Hey, Scott, what's up?
Hi, Tom. Thank you. To answer your question, when will the average American know that we no longer live in a democracy? It'll be when the goddess of Columbia atop our U.S. Capitol is replaced with the cross.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
The first thing people
it's been a long time since I've thought of the goddess Columbia.
It'll be the ultimate flag planting.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
Okay. Well, you said it well. Thank you for the call. Lori in Ocala, Florida. Hey, Lori, what's up?
Hi, Tom. Well, I was listening to the woman who was talking about the Democrats failing us,
mm-hmm.
and just the inflection point that we are at, where people are getting fired for speaking their piece or, for doing what they do, comedians being funny.
Mm-hmm.
Really, who was impacted as Republicans, because we were never on board with this. They're all in, and they're at the point where they're kind of going on a different train now, and they can see what's going to happen, and they know how many, maybe not a number, but they know that many people have fallen out of windows, that many people have had things thrown in their faces and their bodies and have died, that if they don't go along 100%, they can't say, I think I'm going to step out now.
Right.
I think this is the point at which Republicans should be helped along by a bunch of Democrats that put this in writing and say, hey, you need to jump off that right now, and we'll all get together and go against him. But it's going to be too late for you if you go ahead right now. This is that point.
Yeah, somebody needs to warn the Republicans. They think, oh, I'm a Republican. He's not going to come after me. Tell that to Jim Comey, who's a Republican. Tell that to John Clapper, who's a Republican. Tell that to Miles Taylor, who is a registered Republican in a Republican administration. Lori, thank you. Hey, thanks so much for sharing our program and for reaching out to our stations and sponsors and letting them know that you're listening. It really means a lot to us. When Ronald Reagan took over America in 1981, we handed him a brand gleaming new country. Franklin Roosevelt, Harry Truman, Dwight Eisenhower, Jack Kennedy, they had built America. We had brand new schools, brand new hospitals, brand new interstate highway systems, brand new airports, infrastructure. We were the envy of the world. And then Republicans came along and they said, well, you just cut the top tax rate from 74% down to 27% and everything will trickle down. Instead, what do we get? Billionaires and poverty. They said, hey, just deregulate guns. And an armed society is a polite society. Instead, we've got more school shootings than anywhere in the world. They said, just kill off civics and history classes in our schools and liberate our young people to focus on science and math. And now we've got people who don't know how our government works. I mean, it just goes on from there. There's a whole rant about it over at HartmannReport.com titled FDR Saved America, Then the GOP Ripped Us Apart. Check it out. Welcome back. 9 minutes before the hour, picking up your calls here. Jeremy in Minneapolis. Hey, Jeremy, thanks for listening to KTNF. What's up?
Hi, Tom. Thanks for taking my call. I have two questions for you. One, do you think there's the possibility that Donald Trump could face RICO charges for running this extortion racket with the media?
No.
Like the $16 million?
He's immune from any kind of prosecution, according to 5 or 6 Republicans on the U.S. Supreme Court, for any kind of crime, which would include that. And, when he leaves office, I just don't, there's the speech and debate clause also that prevents you from prosecuting House and Senate members for conspiracies like you're describing. So bottom line, no.
I thought that Supreme Court immunity really only covered official presidential acts, though.
That's correct. And the argument is that everything he does while he's in the White House is an official presidential act.
Huh. Okay, my second question is, do you think there's a possibility that these media companies could ever sue him to get their money back?
No, I don't think so, because the billionaires who own them are on his side or are afraid of him, one or the other. It's hard to know, if Larry Ellison and his son, who now owns, Skydance / ABC, whether these guys are genuine MAGA followers, or whether they're just, playing the role because they're afraid of Donald Trump. I don't know. But the effect is the same. So, no, I don't think so. Jeremy, keep thinking. I like the way you're thinking, but I don't think that's going to happen. Alain in Quebec, Canada. Hey, Alain, what's on your mind today? Or Alain?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so it's Alain, but that's okay. Nobody can pronounce that.
Yeah, I got it in French.
So, okay, first of all, I'd like to say that from the get-go, that what's happening between the United States and Canada eerily resembles to the split between Rome and Constantinople.
In what year? In what era?
When the Western Roman and split with when Rome was split between East and West.
No, I recall the event. I just don't know when. Was that pre or post Julius Caesar or Augustus?
It was past. It was
post.
Shortly before the fall of the Roman Empire.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
They tried to save the Roman Empire by splitting it in half.
Mm-hmm.
The Western Empire, Constantinople, lasted about another 1,000 years.
Yeah.
While the Western part of Rome fell.
Yeah.
And what we're witnessing right now feels like that, but this is not what I'm calling about.
So it's the split of the United States and Europe, or the split of the United States and the Western Coalition, which includes Canada.
Yeah. So
interesting.
What I'm calling about is something about the toxic masculinity,
mm-hmm.
and probably something that happened 2,000 years ago. Because as you look at history, I've noticed about the age of Aquarius and stuff like that people talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Those are about the precession, which is where the sun rises up on the equinox of spring, which for now we are going toward the constellation of Aquarius. Right now we are leaving Pisces for Aquarius. 2,000 years ago, it was the Aries toward Pisces, and 4,000 years ago, it was the age of Taurus. Now, what I've noticed is that during the age of Taurus, the cult of the bull was everywhere.
Right.
Around the
the worshiping the golden calf and all that. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. So, and when it transited to the age of Aries, for the Christianity, the gods feel like was a burning bush or a volcano. So it was fiery, the flame, and Rome, which was supposed to be founded around that time. I'm not that certain, but the city of Rome was dedicated to the god of Mars.
Yeah, the god of war.
Yeah. But it was not just the god of war, it was the god of supreme masculinity.
Ah.
So you have to remember that. So what happened is that by the end, by the year zero-ish, the elite were seeing the empire crumbling, and they looked to the sky because you have to remember that the Roman society was excessively superstitious.
Mm-hmm.
They were not moving without the oracle, like the prophet and everything, the priest or whatever, the fortune teller.
Elaine, I'm sorry I'm out of time. Do you want to make one final point? I'll give you 10 seconds.
Yes, can psychologists, sociologists, or astrologers can take a look and see if that trauma didn't transpose into the Christianity.
Is it coming around again? Elaine, thank you for the call. We'll be back with more of the news of the day and your calls on Anything Goes weekend. Stick around.
You're listening to Thom Hartmann.
Speech TV and video media online. We also have a whole set of ways you can interact with us and tools you can use to spread the word about the importance of democracy and the threats to it in our republic. First, there's your daily homework. Sue Nethercutt puts together a daily email newsletter that has a link to every story I discuss on the air, so you can find my sources and you can share them with your friends. It's free and you can sign up at thomhartmann.com. Second, I publish my daily take every day over at the hartmannreport.com website. That's also free if you want the daily 5 days a week rant in your inbox. No ads either. Third, we have the podcasts. There's the free 1-hour version of our daily show that's advertising supported. You can find that wherever you get your podcasts normally. And then there's also the podcast of the entire 3-hour show with no advertisements, and that's available by subscription over at thomhartmann.com. So check them all out at thomhartmann.com and hartmannreport.com.
We say fight back!
The Free Speech TV fundraiser right now. It's Friday. I'm back. It's been a crazy morning. I'm sorry I was on BBC and all that. Anyway, we really need your help. Free Speech TV needs your help and needs your help right now. I mean, just look at the media landscape. Look at Jimmy Kimmel getting fired or getting suspended or whatever you want to call it. Stephen Colbert, same deal. This is dangerous stuff. We are entering some really, really dangerous territory with this administration that is, just aggressively trying to clamp down on free speech. I don't know how else to characterize it. And here we are, the Free Speech Network. And that's why we need your help. It just, it doesn't work without you. This network does not work without you. You fund it. It's a small organization that's just doing great and big work. So, and Trump didn't hijack the Republican Party, by the way. He finished its transformation into a tool for billionaires and corporate power. From Nixon to Reagan to Citizens United, they built the machine that made Trump possible. And now with projects like 2025, they're preparing to finish the job. That's why the book that I wrote, The Last American President, which you can get an autographed copy of with a $144 gift to Free Speech TV today, it matters. It lays out how this system was built. how Trump weaponized empathy's absence, and how his embrace of autocrats shattered America's standing in the world. But it also issues a call to reform, to resist, and to remember. Democracy isn't something we have, it's something we do together. And that's where our Free Speech TV family comes in. We're not just viewers, we're community, holding the line for truth and compassion in a media landscape bought and sold by corporations. We share the belief that democracy only works when people care about each other, and we're committed to making sure that message doesn't go dark. So I'm asking you to be part of that commitment. Make your pledge to Free Speech TV right now, 877-378-8669, or go to freespeech.org. The Last American President is available through Free Speech TV now, even before it's released to the public through this pledge. But what you'll really be doing is keeping truth alive, keeping democracy alive, keeping America alive. So please join this fight now. Call 877-378-8669 or go to freespeech.org right now. With a $20 gift, there's the mystery bumper sticker or the mystery tote bag. It may be more than $20. I'm not sure. Somebody told us that, but double check. With a $144 gift, there's the autographed copy of The Last American President. And today is double match day. Whatever you give will be double matched. Your $100 becomes $200. Your $50 becomes $100. Your $10 becomes $20. Your $1,000 becomes $2,000. With a $240 gift, I think I mentioned $144 for the Last American President, $240 gift, the virtual meet and greet. With a $250 gift, there's the mystery bundle. Free Speech has accumulated all these things over the years. With a $1,000 gift, there's the in-person meet and greet where you can come to Portland and hang out with us. So there's a lot of stuff, a lot of, some great premiums there. But most importantly, by contributing to Free Speech TV, you're literally donating your time and effort. This is your stepping up and saying, no, I'm in favor of free speech more generally, because Free Speech TV is where free speech is happening, where we dare to say the truth about what's going on, where we dare to challenge power, speak truth to power. It's getting more and more rare. More and more people are getting frightened and threatened. New York Times getting sued, their reporters getting sued, ABC getting sued, CBS getting sued. I mean, this is just, these are very, very dark times for this country. We're facing a very challenging time. So please call now, 877-378-8669, or go to freespeech.org and make your contribution, knowing that it will be doubled today. It's Friday, it's double match day. So please do whatever you can to help out, 877-378-8669, or go to freespeech.org and make your contribution now. There's some great premiums, but far more than that, you'll know that you are helping keep something really, really vital alive. So thank you so much, and onward with the program. It just, it doesn't work without you. This network does not work without you. You fund it. It's a small organization that's just doing great and big work. So, and Trump didn't hijack the Republican Party, by the way. He finished its transformation into a tool for billionaires and corporate power. From Nixon to Reagan to Citizens United, they built the machine that made Trump possible. And now with projects like 2025, they're preparing to finish the job. That's why the book that I wrote, The Last American President, which you can get an autographed copy of with a $144 gift to Free Speech TV today, it matters. It lays out how this system was built, how Trump weaponized empathy's absence, and how his embrace of autocrats shattered America's standing in the world. But it also issues a call to reform, to resist, and to remember. Democracy isn't something we have, it's something we do together. And that's where our Free Speech TV family comes in.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
Hey, welcome to the second hour of our program. My op-ed yesterday at HartmannReport.com was titled "Silencing the Press, Targeting the People." the pyramid of authoritarian violence. And it's a point that I've made before on this program that when societies devolve into civil war, when they essentially fall apart, it goes in 3 stages. The first stage is they go after the politicians. They rig the system so that the authoritarian party ends up being the only party in power. You see assassins, lone wolf assassins, going after, killing politicians. We're seeing that now, writ large. And the second stage is where they go after the pundits. They go after the media. They go after the commentators. And the assassination of Charlie Kirk falls into that category. So this is, and that's why, I get it that the right wing is blowing Charlie Kirk's death out of proportion, or at least, trying to turn him into a horse vessel, trying to make him into a martyr and all this sort of thing. And I get it. For many people, he actually is a martyr. I mean, he's widely admired on the right. A lot of young people, particularly young men, are very fond of him, and or were, still are, I suppose. He lives on YouTube and whatnot. But the assassination of the pundit class is what comes second, and then finally at the end you get people going after each other. And to an extent, that's now happening as well, although not with guns, but with unemployment. You've got the vice president coming out here saying, if you see somebody, saying something bad about Charlie Kirk or something that offends you, or I forget the phrase he used, but words to that effect, then contact their employer, dox them, out them. He didn't use the word dox, but you get the point. And these are very, very bad signs for a democracy. And indications, in my opinion, that we're in one of those moments. We saw this once before in America, in the 1850s, when Thomas Sumner was caned, on the floor of the United States Senate by Preston Brooks, Congressman Preston Brooks, for opposing slavery, nearly beaten to death. And that was like, it kind of kicked off the violence that led to the Civil War. And this was, of course, when the South had ceased to be a democracy. The South had become an autocracy. It had become a neo-fascist, this pre-fascist dictator. I mean, the word wasn't around back then, but the idea certainly was. Dictatorship. And, all the dissenting voices, the newspaper publishers had been hanged or run out of town, and, on it went, right? And then they tried to end the democracy in the North. They tried to end the democracy for the rest of America. So I just want to emphasize this. I think we're at this very, very dangerous moment. Meanwhile, McCarthyism is back. In 1954, Joe McCarthy, waved his famous, "I have here 200 names of communists in the State Department." There were no names on the list. It was a piece of paper. But here we are. Only now the names are professors who are on Charlie Kirk's list, or Campus Watched, which was launched in 2000 to identify unpatriotic professors, or the Discover the Networks in 2004, mapping out leftist influence, or the Canary Mission in 2014, naming and shaming Palestinian activists. Here we are again. This is like a reinvention of the McCarthy era, and I think this should give us all considerable pause. Finally, the Department of Defense, this is wild, is talking about recruiting a recruitment campaign for the military, specifically for people who are supporters of Charlie Kirk. According to NBC News, quote, "The idea would be to frame the recruiting campaign as a national call to service," the official said. Possible slogans the Pentagon leaders have discussed include "Charlie has awakened a generation of warriors," according to officials. That's pretty incredible. I made this comparison to Horst Wessel. I told you the story about my friend Gottfried Müller, who was initiated into the Nazis by Adolf Hitler, by touching the banner that had Horst Wessel's blood on it, as all the officers in the German military were required to do when they pledged allegiance to Hitler. They had turned Horst Wessel into this basically recruiting tool. And you had the Horst Wessel song, and all this other stuff, which is now outlawed in Germany. And it sure looks to me like we're in a history repeats itself moment. And it's a very, very dangerous one. So what's on your mind? Jessica in Chicago. Hey, Jessica, what's up?
Hi, Tom.
Hey.
I agree with you 100%. It's, you got me a little bit sad. So the warmonger president who believes he can just have boats off the coast of Venezuela incinerated by our U.S. military with innocent people on board.
Right, they just did a third one. That might have been just fishermen.
Yeah, I think it might be the fourth. The first boat showed 12 people with white waterproof jackets and hoods. Now, that to me looks like a recreational boat ride, because I was just at Niagara Falls, and the tour boats, the people on the U.S. side are wearing blue. It just looks exactly like that jacket.
Oh, it might have been a whale watching group. I mean, who knows?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And the Canadian side, they wear their red ponchos. Mm-hmm. I believe that's what it was. And since the U.S., why did they get so chicken that they wouldn't even seize the boat and board them and take the drug evidence with them?
Right.
It's because it doesn't exist. And Trump, we know he loves arresting people, and I know it was at least 3 boats, but they just insinuate the boats totally, and then there's no drug evidence. And Trump was claiming, the clown was saying he could see the cocaine and the fentanyl. Now, that boat looks like an AI photograph, because who has packages just like that? And they would blow off the boat. Everybody knows that. And they would have had a tarp over them to protect them from. That is insane. And so our U.S. military, who used to seize boats and confiscate evidence in the past, they're now little chicken butts. And it makes no sense. But one thing about the Department of War Secretary, Hegseth has 500 security guards protecting him, and he's got security for his ex-wife. And this was before the Charlie Kirk murder. So,
well,
yeah.
It's not unusual for a defense secretary to have security, Jessica. That's not unreasonable.
That money? Well, maybe. So, one last thing. RFK, should we call him the Secretary of Death? Because he keeps,
The Secretary of what? I missed your word.
The Secretary of Death instead of Health.
Of X?
Secretary of Death.
Oh, of death.
RFK.
I'm sorry. Yes, death.
Yeah. Secretary of Death, Secretary
Yeah.
of War,
Yeah.
warmonger
MAGA,
president.
make America dead again.
Yeah.
I get it. Jessica, thanks for the call. It's always nice hearing from you. I appreciate it. It's 14 and a half minutes past the hour. I'll be back with more of your calls here on Anything Goes Weekend. It's the Thom Hartmann program, occupying the media 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, right here. We'll be right back.
This is the Thom Hartmann program.
These are very troubling times. This is such a pregnant moment. Stick around. By the way, a federal judge just gave Donald Trump, I believe, a month to amend his lawsuit against the New York Times, saying that, this is basically just a political screed. It's not really a lawsuit. We'll see. Where's this going to go? How's it going to play out? I don't know, but it's just wild. Kenyatta in Los Angeles. Hey, Kenyatta, how you doing?
No, more importantly is the fact that you are doing well.
Yeah, so far so
I'm
good.
doing. All right, listen, I'm going to try to be as pithy as I can, but I've got a lot on my mind right now.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just say this. that I don't think that most people realize how insidious this crusade by the Orange Crusade or Rabbit, and crusade, as you know, is related to the word crucifixion. And what Donald Trump is doing is he's not only on a revenge tour, he's crucifying anyone in the United States that goes against him. That's what this is. And instead of all of these terms that we're using in the media, oligarch, fascist, the average American can barely string, two paragraphs together properly. They don't know what these terms mean. So let's just call it what it is. Rich, racist white boys. That's what it is. You know, I listened to Fox News say recently that the quote-unquote assassination of Charlie Ku Klux Kirk was the most significant since the assassination of Martin Luther King. I thought I was going to pass out. Let me tell you something about bullies, Tom, and I grew up with them. As soon as you show fear, you've already lost.
Yep.
You said in your Hartmann report today that most people think that when tanks are rolling down the streets, and while people in Washington, D.C. are seeing that right now, it's not most people's lived experience. Let me tell you something. I'm 62 years old. In 1965, as a toddler, I saw tanks in the streets of Los Angeles. I saw tanks in the streets in Los Angeles 27 years later. So the snowflakes that probably don't realize that democracy has been lost, so they see that. I want you to know, and your listeners to know, that I've always known that this was possible, because I've always seen those tanks in the street, and we have them, not tanks, but we've got soldiers in the streets in Los Angeles right now.
Yep.
Lastly, let me say this, how insidious this is and how dangerous this is. I'm involved in some significant litigation right now, and I wrote a piece about Charlie Kirk that was published recently. Scathing. Charlie Kirk said horrible things about people that look like me. Horrible. I'm not going to forget that. So what? He's just a dead racist now. And but I actually had to have a gut check. I actually found myself saying, well, now I'm in the middle of this litigation, and if I publish this piece, and is the judge going to see it? Are the litigants going to see it? How is that going to affect the outcome of this situation? Yeah. That's how insidious and dangerous this is.
I think all over America, people are doing this gut check. You know, look at what's happening to people who criticize Kirk on social media.
Exactly. So let me tell you this: a little bird told me that you're going to be in Los Angeles not too long from now on your Last American President book tour. I just want you to know I'm on the KPFK welcome wagon when you get here.
Okay, I look forward to meeting you, Kenyatta. Thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate it. Thank you. It's 19 and a half minutes past the hour. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds. Change starts with you. You can be calling your Democratic or Republican representatives to let them know what you think by calling 202-224-3121. It's the Capitol switchboard. It'll get you right through to them. I remember my dad's Republican Party, the Republican Party of Dwight Eisenhower. Dwight Eisenhower, who ran on advocacy for democracy around the world, for a clean environment, for honest wages, for unions, for building infrastructure, for government balanced spending, for peace in the world. This is from his 1956 campaign.
Eisenhower knows how to deal with the Russians. He has met Europe's leaders, has got them working with us. Elect the number one man for the number one job of our time. November 4th, vote for peace. Vote for Eisenhower. A paid bill.
Right. Vote for peace. That was it. And now the Republicans are the party of, military boondoggles and corruption and hate and anti-union and everything, the opposite of everything Eisenhower stood for. Will the Republican Party survive this? What are they going to come back as? There's a whole op-ed about this titled Goodbye Liz Cheney over at HartmannReport.com. Check it out.
First they come for the voices in power, then they reach for the ones who explain every echo of truth grows uncertain, every silence a mark of the strain.
When silence becomes law,
the guns replace the word.
When silence becomes law,
the people go unheard.
21 minutes past the hour.
The
Welcome
pyramid
back.
is
Let's
shaking.
pick up some calls here on Anything Goes Weekend. Brian in Baltimore. Hey, Brian, what's up?
Hey, Tom. Good to be back. Just to head it off, political violence is bad, period.
Yeah.
Always.
I think there's an absolute consensus about that.
And it's sad that we have to start off every conversation with that now, but it has become a thing that I'm doing because I'm a professional and I don't want to lose my job.
Yeah.
So I'm putting that out front. My main point is selective empathy.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to touch base on it before, but I cursed and you had to cut me off, and I apologize.
Okay.
But I think it's happening on both sides, the selective empathy.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more dangerous right now on the right, far more dangerous. And I think it's the source of everything that is corrupting America. I think, the death was bad, right? But selective empathy is also a bad thing. If you decide you're going to care more about someone as opposed to someone else, then you are immediately dividing an essential core of American value.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I begin to see some real trouble. There was a black man hung in Mississippi recently.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the local police are claiming that it was a suicide, although the family is now apparently is asking for a separate autopsy. We're following that story. I'm waiting to see something a little more definitive before I go off on it.
I am too, and I hope it's not racist.
There was a white man who also hung himself, and we don't know if that was a suicide. It appears it probably was. But anyway, back to you, Brian.
But I feel like we're moving into a very, you've said it multiple times, a dangerous territory. And I think the critical part now is for us to try to come back together. And I hate to get emotional about it, but I really fear, because I have 3 children growing up in this country. And I see a division. One of my sons has actually kind of fallen to the side of the right. He's Christian driven, which I appreciate. I love that. I think it's a great moral compass. But he's also got some bad extreme Christian influence in that arena, right?
Yeah.
Because I was raised Christian. I think there's some great morals there. I think the problem is it's been so perverted over time and separated out that it's become an ideology as opposed to a religion. Like, I feel like that Charlie Kirk, his organization is more of a religious organization than a political organization. And I think the fact
I
that
think
he registers,
I think it's a political organization that's exploiting religion, but we may be
that's
splitting
the
hairs here.
issue, is they are using religion to exploit politics.
Yeah.
And that is never the intention of the country we live in at this point.
Yeah.
But one of the things I wanted to get to was this whole selective empathy is it's a base function of narcissism, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and narcissists use empathy to manipulate people. And I think we're all becoming more narcissistic as we have our phones that create a centralized source of making us feel more central to the universe.
Yeah.
That increases our narcissistic tendencies. I think,
Brian,
there's a lot of things going on.
I used to work in the advertising industry. I owned 2 ad agencies. I used to teach advertising and marketing all around the country. And the central message of most advertising is very simple. It's one sentence. you are the most important person in the world, and this product will make you feel more like that. It will make you feel better. And that, it's an appeal, like you said, it's an appeal to narcissism, and I agree with you. I think, social media, turns everybody into a star kind of thing.
But I think that understanding narcissism is how we have to start to understand how to communicate with each other, because narcissism is becoming the level of communication necessary to reach people.
Yeah, it's becoming kind of the baseline. It's the new baseline.
And it's sad. I mean, that's a sad state of America and of just, I think, the global public. But we're all becoming very narcissistic. And I think that also, I just want to touch one other subject, if I have a minute, is Trump is removing satire and experts so that all we have left is violence.
Well, I get it. I hope it's not how it plays out, but I get it. Brian, thank you for the call. 27 minutes past the hour. I'll be back with more of your calls on the other side of the break here. It's Anything Goes Weekend on the Thom Hartmann Program.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 202-808-9925.
Talk media for those of us who still believe in democracy. Stick around. In the Free Speech TV fundraiser right now. It's Friday. I'm back. It's been a crazy morning. I'm sorry I was on BBC and all that. Anyway, we really need your help. Free Speech TV needs your help and needs your help right now. Just look at the media landscape. Look at Jimmy Kimmel getting fired or getting suspended or whatever you want to call it. Stephen Colbert, same deal. This is dangerous stuff. We are entering some really, really dangerous territory with this administration that is, just aggressively trying to clamp down on free speech. I don't know how else to characterize it. And here we are, the Free Speech Network. And that's why we need your help. It just, it doesn't work without you. This network does not work without you. You fund it. It's a small organization that's just doing great and big work. So, and Trump didn't hijack the Republican Party, by the way. He finished its transformation into a tool for billionaires and corporate power. From Nixon to Reagan to Citizens United, they built the machine that made Trump possible. And now with projects like 2025, they're preparing to finish the job. That's why the book that I wrote, The Last American President, which you can get an autographed copy of with a $144 gift to Free Speech TV today, it matters. It lays out how this system was built, how Trump weaponized empathy's absence, and how his embrace of autocrats shattered America's standing in the world. But it also issues a call to reform, to resist, and to remember. Democracy isn't something we have, it's something we do together. And that's where our Free Speech TV family comes in. We're not just viewers, we're community, holding the line for truth and compassion in a media landscape bought and sold by corporations. We share the belief that democracy only works when people care about each other, and we're committed to making sure that message doesn't go dark. So I'm asking you to be part of that commitment. Make your pledge to Free Speech TV right now, 877-378-8669, or go to freespeech.org. The Last American President is available through Free Speech TV now, even before it's released to the public through this pledge. But what you'll really be doing is keeping truth alive, keeping democracy alive, keeping America alive. So please join this fight now. Call 877-378-8669 or go to freespeech.org right now. With a $20 gift, there's the mystery bumper sticker or the mystery tote bag. It may be more than $20. I'm not sure. Somebody told us that, but double check. With a $144 gift, there's the autographed copy of The Last American President. And today is double match day. Whatever you give will be double matched. Your $100 becomes $200. Your $50 becomes $100. Your $10 becomes $20. Your $1,000 becomes $2,000. With a $240 gift, I think I mentioned $144 for the Last American President, $240 gift, the virtual meet and greet. With a $250 gift, there's the mystery bundle. Free Speech has accumulated all these things over the years. with a $1,000 gift, there's the in-person meet and greet where you can come to Portland and hang out with us. So there's a lot of stuff, a lot of, some great premiums there. But most importantly, by contributing to Free Speech TV, you're literally donating your time and effort. This is your stepping up and saying, no, I'm in favor of free speech more generally, because Free Speech TV is where free speech is happening, where we dare to say the truth about what's going on, where we dare to challenge power, speak truth to power. It's getting more and more rare. More and more people are getting frightened and threatened. New York Times getting sued, their reporters getting sued, ABC getting sued, CBS getting sued. I mean, this is just, these are very, very dark times for this country. We're facing a very challenging time. So please call now, 877-378-8669, or go to freespeech.org and make your contribution, knowing that it will be doubled today. It's Friday, it's double match day. So please do whatever you can to help out, 877-378-8669, or go to freespeech.org and make your contribution now. There's some great premiums, but far more than that, you'll know that you are helping keep something really, really vital alive. So thank you so much, and onward with the program. It just, it doesn't work without you. This network does not work without you. You fund it. It's a small organization that's just doing great and big work. So, and Trump didn't hijack the Republican Party, by the way. He finished its transformation into a tool for billionaires and corporate power. From Nixon to Reagan to Citizens United, they built the machine that made Trump possible. And now with projects like 2025, they're preparing to finish the job. That's why the book that I wrote, The Last American President, which you can get an autographed copy of with a $144 gift to Free Speech TV today, it matters. It lays out how this system was built, how Trump weaponized empathy's absence, and how his embrace of autocrats shattered America's standing in the world. But it also issues a call to reform, to resist, and to remember. Democracy isn't something we have, it's something we do together. And that's where our Free Speech TV family comes in. Share the Thom Hartmann program with your friends. Our podcast, The Hartmann Report, is absolutely free and available wherever fine podcasts are available. And the entire 3-hour podcast is available over at thomhartmann.com. From Los Angeles to Columbia, South Carolina, from Birmingham, Alabama to Baltimore, universal basic income programs are chalking up proof after proof of their viability. Basically just giving people, low-income people, poor people, somewhere between $500 and $1,500 a month, no strings attached, is lifting people out of poverty, getting them back on track, getting them into solid middle-class jobs, helping their children tremendously. This works. You don't have to do UBI in the United States. We're the only developed country in the world that doesn't have a national health care program. Health expenses are whacking a lot of low-income people. We're the only developed country in the world that doesn't have free college education. Education expenses are whacking people. There's a lot we could do. We can subsidize housing. We can subsidize food. We do that with food stamps. We could expand it. There's a lot we could do to benefit from this. There's a whole report about that over at hartmannreport.com. Check it out.
They used to stand up, take the heat, face the folks out in the street, but now they run, now they hide, too scared to take the other side.
Welcome back. 35 minutes past the hour. It's Anything Goes Weekend. Picking up your calls here. Alan in Raleigh, North Carolina. Hey, Alan, what's up?
Hey, Tom. Good to hear from you. Hey, a couple things. First, Project 25. Where are we on that playbook, and have they had to deviate much from that? And what's the next big thing that we can expect out of that?
Yeah.
And my second part of my question is, in light of what's going on with Jimmy Kimmel and other talk shows, I fear for you guys on the progressive station. What are your thoughts on that? Or what are you doing to protect yourself?
Well, we're doing the best we can, Alan. With regard to Project 2025, my understanding is that they're about a third, or between a third and a halfway through the book, basically. Brendan Carr actually wrote the section on what the FCC should be doing and on what the policy around the media should be. So, yeah, it's a blueprint to turn America from what we historically thought of as a liberal democracy, using liberal in the broadest sense of the word, not the political sense of the word, and into basically a theocratic conservative oligarchy. And, frankly, we're more than halfway there. Alan, thanks for the call. Raymond in Junction City, what state are you in, Raymond?
I'm in California, but I'm actually in Blue Lake, California, not Junction City. I moved.
Oh, okay. I'll fix that. So what's up?
All right. Well, first of all, I'd like to comment on what an earlier caller said. A woman who spoke about the responsibilities of people in elected positions, like our representatives, that they should be out there more because they can't be fired. They have a level of protection that we do not have.
Correct.
As individual citizens. And I thought that was right on point. That was awesome because
the one thing they don't have protection for is being voted out of office or being primaried because they pissed off some billionaire who, or AIPAC or something that comes in and just wipes them out. And sadly, that's the thing that they're all thinking of, or many of them are thinking of.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. And I thought that what she said, that was right on point.
Yeah.
Secondly, the main reason why I called is because in California, on September 13th, the State Assembly and the State Senate passed AB 715, which is a censorship law in education in California. It pretty much goes along the lines of the, the International Holocaust and Remembrance Alliance. They use their definition of anti-Semitism to censor what's going on or they want to use that to censor what's going on in California classrooms. And this passed in the middle of the night on September 13th. Excuse me. And it's going to the governor. So I'm calling because I want to reach as many people as possible in California to please call the governor and demand that he vetoes AB 715.
Is this a law that is under the guise of anti-Semitism being used to censor criticism of Netanyahu's policies? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
And this is in schools. This is in schools, K through 12. And I'm sure they want to use it for higher education also.
Yeah.
There's a great article about it on counterpunch.org called the California Lawmakers Back Censorship Disguised as Anti-Semitism Prevention. That's a really good article about it. And then there's another article on truthout.org, which is related to AB, the subject of AB 715. But it's all about how history and how education in our country is just being totally, gutted and changed into right-wing indoctrination, pretty much.
Yeah.
And the name of the article on Truthout is called "We Can't Let White Nationalism Dictate What Is Taught and Learned in Classrooms." And so it's related to the subject of AB 715 because they're both about censorship.
I get it.
And lying to children.
I get it. Raymond, I'll check it out. Thank you for the heads up on that. Appreciate it. Jim in St. Charles, Missouri. Hey, Jim, what's on your mind?
Yeah, Mr. Hartmann, thank you for taking my call. I just want to go back a little bit, say around 2014, President Trump was running against Secretary Clinton, and all his rallies throughout the South, Birmingham, Alabama, Dothan, Georgia, Dothan, Alabama, Dyersburg, Tennessee, Gettysburg, Mississippi, all through that, night after night, day after day, weekend after weekend, he would start talking. He'd talk about the Biden crime family. He would talk about tens and millions of people being let out of prisons, with the rapists, the gangsters, the murderers, and all that being left in this country, coming across our borders. And President Trump had huge rallies, Mr. Hartmann, 30, 35, 40,000 people at these rallies back then. But when he talked about bringing jobs back in this country, manufacturing companies, and the products are going to be said, made in the USA, that crowd went wild.
Right. And we've lost over 70,000 manufacturing jobs since he became president, largely as a result of the tariffs.
And I go back, I think we lost about 2 million jobs have left the United States. Now, he said he's going to bring them back. He had 4 years to do it, okay? Now, let's go 4 years later. He became president. President Biden was in there. President Biden's big thing with the help with the Republicans, bipartisan vote. We got a $14 trillion, I think, infrastructure bill
Yeah,
passed.
it was $4 trillion. No, it was less than that. But yeah, it was a lot of money. Yep.
Yeah, okay. Well, there are a lot of money. Everything in that infrastructure bill, the steel, the screws, the bolts, the clothes that people wear to go on edge, everything should be, say, made in the USA.
And a lot of it is. And by the way, have you noticed that Donald Trump, there's, all these construction signs all over America where they're building roads and bridges and things as a result of that legislation that Biden passed, that the majority of Republicans in the House and Senate voted against, and now, and Trump lobbied against. And now Trump is putting up signs that say, President Donald Trump is building this bridge.
Well, that was a bipartisan on both sides.
Yeah. It was. They called it bipartisan bill, but it just had a handful of Republicans who voted for it. Most Republicans voted against it. But yeah, I get your point. I get your point. Jim, thanks for the call. Marie in Atlanta. Hey, Marie, what's on your mind today?
Hey, Tom. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Two things. First of all, you had an earlier call, I think it was Perry, who was talking about perhaps some lawsuits that Jimmy Kimmel may have against Brendan Carr or against Disney. We do know it's been reported that Jimmy Kimmel has filed suit for $1 billion for wrongful termination against, I think it's Disney, it might be ABC.
Mm-hmm.
But in
really, I
terms of
hadn't read that.
Carr,
Interesting.
yeah, I just saw it on Blue Sky.
I saw it this morning also that he said that he's being followed around Los Angeles. He's quite worried about this.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me. The other thing, though, is in terms of Brendan Carr, I think that if he has acted outside of his scope of authority as the chair of the FCC, he's not protected from that. So if he was enforcing some standard that does not exist, some standard that is not a regulation that's stated under the regulations of the FCC, he may have been acting outside of his scope of authority.
Right.
In which case, Jimmy Kimmel might have an action for wrongful interference with a contract.
Isn't there a problem with sovereign immunity there, Marie? I mean, you're the attorney, not me.
Well, I mean, the question of whether or not he's got sovereign immunity goes back to whether or not he was acting within the scope of his authority.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm saying I'm not so sure that he was. So, again, notice I've said he may have, Kimmel may have an action for interference with a contract. He may also have a claim for interference with a contract with Nexstar.
Right. No, I get that. But the argument that Brendan Carr is making is not, I have decided that there is now an FCC rule that you may not criticize the president. The argument that he's making, which, frankly, I thought went back to the Fairness Doctrine. The Fairness Doctrine said you must program in the public interest. And although I'm guessing that appears in other places in the code that created the FCC. But that's what he says. He says that, he's merely enforcing the rule that says that you must program in the public interest. And therefore, by implication, criticizing the president is not in the public interest. And that's something that I would bet you anything, Marie, that at the very least, Sam Alito and Clarence Thomas will agree with him on.
Well, Sam Alito and Clarence Thomas will agree with any Republican on anything that supports Trump or goes against the Democrats. So I'm not. Yeah. No offense, that's not a big stretch.
Yeah, but aren't you concerned that if this thing gets to the Supreme Court, they may ratify just this radical form of censorship that he appears to be participating in?
Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, it's possible. Yeah. I think if we're trying to think creatively about how we can, throw sand in the gears, I don't think in terms of a First Amendment challenge. I am worried about the Supreme Court and a First Amendment challenge. Yeah. I am less worried about a contract challenge because just as Trump is not immune from any contractual litigation, he is immune from criminal litigation, essentially, for criminal prosecution.
Well, their contract probably doesn't bind them to putting him on the air. It just binds them to employing him for a certain period of time and paying him a certain amount of money and then demands that he will have to do. I have signed a bunch of contracts over the years. I've got contracts with a couple of my radio stations. I had one with a TV station once, or a TV network once, and I have one with a TV network now. None of them say that they have to allow me to be on the air. All of them basically give the power to take me off the air there. They just, occasionally will say that I have to be paid a certain amount, although most of them are actually barter deals, where they can sell advertising, I can sell advertising. But the point is that I'm not sure that he would have that as a basis for a lawsuit because of that, because of the entertainment contracts that, at least that I've seen, that I've signed.
No, I understand that. What I'm saying to you is, if he was actually terminated, that's a different story.
Oh, he hasn't been so far.
My understanding is he's suing for wrongful termination.
Right, but he hasn't been terminated.
And there is such a,
he's simply been suspended.
But Tom, there is such a thing as constructive termination.
Okay.
There is such a thing in the law as constructive termination. Now, I'm not a labor and employment lawyer, but, trying to think creatively as far as how Jimmy Kimmel can, kind of keep this from being the final word, him being removed from the air, trying to do that. So
That's interesting. Marie, thank you. I always learn something when you call. I appreciate the call. Thank you very much. It's 47.5 minutes past the hour. I'll be back with more of your calls here on Anything Goes Weekend. Stay tuned. It's the Thom Hartmann program, exposing the con in conservative. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Thom Hartmann. Visit thomhartmann.com for audio and video archives.
It's the place where despair is not an option. I'll be right back with your calls. And welcome back. Jared in Santa Fe. Hey, Jared, what's up?
Hey, Tom. A couple of things. First one's real quick. They're forcing a majority black NFL to pay tribute to an openly racist individual.
Really?
Who's also a bigot.
How?
I'm sorry?
How's it?
Yeah. I read it on the, on social media that they're forcing they're also forcing the rest of the to by making Charlie Kirk Day.
What, are they going to have a moment of silence at the next football game or something for Charlie Kirk?
I didn't read further into it. I read that there's one.
That's wild.
One team that's actually refusing to do it, but and the other point I had is that they're declaring Antifa a terrorist organization, and that's most of the country. I mean, if you're patriotic and you live by who we were after World War or during World War II, we were all anti-fascists. We were all fighting.
Well, I think by saying that they're going to declare that anti-fascism is terrorism, they're telling us exactly who they are.
Well, but the scary part for me is that so I speak out on social media now. I'm labeled as a terrorist, or are they going to put me in a camp and disappear me? And is that
that's what they did in Germany. Insane. That's what they did in Russia. That's what they did in Turkey.
Insane. Just because Jon Stewart last night. Dear leader, as thin skin, we must pay tribute to him.
Yeah, that was hysterical.
It was, but. We're in scary times, Tom. Some of us can't get out, I mean, there are people that can get out, but some of us can't.
No, I agree. I have 3 kids in this community. I'm not about to flee to Canada or, like the 2 fascism scholars did, Jason Stanley and I'm forgetting the other guy's name, Tim Snyder. Right. Not going to do it. But Jared, thanks for the call. There's no easy answers here. I'm sorry. We've just had to fight back. Brian in Elkhart, Indiana. Hey, Brian, what's up?
Hi. I just wanted a couple points real quick. First of all, the piece you did a couple days ago on the 400 days to save democracy. Mm-hmm. I really caution against that narrative. I don't think we have 400 days, and I think it's kind of foolish to believe that we're going to have actual honest elections.
Yeah.
But anyway,
then what do you do? Throw your hands up and run?
No, protests, boycotts. I mean, I hate to throw anything in somebody else's lap, but I think our Democratic leaders do need to do a better job of sounding the alarm at this point.
Yeah, I'm with
Most
you
of
on
them
that.
are still going business as usual, and
Yep.
it's not business as usual.
Yep, I agree.
But the second thing, I would caution you about pushing the narrative of of Charlie Kirk's murder being trans. To me, it just seems awful convenient. As the Trump
There's a lot of
administration
people
is
who are
stepping up
wondering
and
out
acting.
loud if that DM, if that text message chain was constructed. I'm not ready to jump on that conspiracy train, but apparently a lot of MAGA people are wondering.
It just seems awful convenient. I mean, obviously, I think the next step is to jail citizens, and trans people are going to be the first targets for that.
Yeah.
And I just think it's awful convenient.
Yeah, it appears that they've been asking states to provide lists of trans people. I mean, this is bad stuff. Brian, thank you for the call. Hitler demanded lists of all the Jews in each one of the German states. We'll be right back. Hey, thanks so much for sharing our program and for reaching out to our stations and sponsors and letting them know that you're listening. It really means a lot to us. Welcome back. 52 minutes past the hour. Picking up your calls here. Rick in St. Cloud, Minnesota. Hey, Rick, what's on your mind today?
Well, I'll start out by saying everybody ought to listen to Pink Floyd's Money. And politics, well, I need say no more. Politics, if the money emboldens the Republicans, the money vanillizes a lot of Democrats. They don't really want to point out truth to power. And now religion, they've been promised by money too. I mean, oh yeah, they're real good on the 10 Commandments, but hey, people commit the 10 Commandments because of the deadly sins. And they don't want to point out the greed, the power, and everything that's happening to our country because of the politics, because they got their hand out. And quite frankly, I think the Republicans want to do like one of them presidents in the early days wanted to do, is let the churches take care of the poor people, get rid of welfare, get rid of social programs, and throw it all in the church. And I think the church is open arms to it because of their greed.
Oh, they're explicit about that. The Republicans have been saying this since the Reagan administration. This should be, private charity, that welfare programs. No, I get it. Rick, well said. Thank you. Keno in Lakeland. Hey, Keno, happy Frias Day. What's up?
Yes, happy Frias Day. Real quick, Tom, with all this clamp down on the media, I'm hearing these rumors that now Free Speech TV and MSNBC are the two channels that I depend on to get a liberal viewpoint, and there's this talk about splitting MSNBC off from the MSNBC and calling it MS Now or something.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
Do you know anything? Would they be silenced? Will they be cut back?
I would bet $50 that they will be. The plan right now apparently is for NBC or NBC Universal or whoever owns NBC to split off MSNBC, and that somebody then will come along and buy it. And my guess is that it might be the Ellison family, who now owns ABC. I incorrectly said CBS this morning, and said that in my newsletter. But
Tom,
it concerns me.
Democrats and liberals have got to start talking about groupthink is creeping into our society. If opposition voices and counterpoints are silenced, groupthink, that's got to be talked about, I do believe. And so is there anything citizens can do to stop MSNBC from being killed off?
Well, yes, elect Democrats. I mean, sadly, and it may be too late for that. We'll see. They're trying to rig the next election right in front of us. But that's going to have to be it. I mean, what you're talking about, Keno, is the need to enforce the antitrust laws, the anti-monopoly laws. And the Trump administration is committed to largely ignoring the anti-monopoly laws as long as the monopolies are friendly to Donald Trump, particularly if they're media monopolies, as long as they're supportive of Donald Trump. And this is how it works in Russia. This is how it works in Hungary. You know, when Putin took over, he used libel lawsuits to shut down the small, outlets, and he used wealthy oligarchs to buy up the big outlets. And now all the media in Russia is controlled by right-wingers. And the same thing in Hungary, the same thing in Turkey, same thing in Egypt, the same thing in Thailand. I mean, this is happening all over the world.
That means free speech is going to become more important.
Yeah, I think Free Speech TV is one of the last bastions because they're not for sale. They're not going anywhere.
Right. So if these other channels get cut off and emasculated, it's going to come down to groupthink gradually taking over the whole society.
Yeah, it's a very dangerous moment in the history of America right now, and I can't tell you how concerned I am about this. Keno, thank you very much for the call. It's always nice hearing from you. Happy Freedom's Day. We'll be back on the other side of the break with more of the news of the day. Trump violating his own executive order. Cities are pushing back against ICE. It's happening here in Portland. I'll tell you about that. And a quick geeky science. Do fatty foods screw up your brain? Really? Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Thom Hartmann.
In addition to bringing you the Thom Hartmann program here on Free Speech TV and Video Media Online, we also have a whole set of ways you can interact with us and tools you can use to spread the word about the importance of democracy and the threats to it in our republic. First, there's your daily homework. Sue Nethercutt puts together a daily email newsletter that has a link to every story I discuss on the air, so you can find my sources and you can share them with your friends. It's free and you can sign up at thomhartmann.com. Second, I publish my daily take every day over at the HartmannReport.com website. That's also free if you want the daily 5 days a week rant in your inbox. No ads either. Third, we have the podcasts. There's the free 1-hour version of our daily show that's advertising supported. You can find that wherever you get your podcasts normally. And then there's also the podcast of the entire 3-hour show with no advertisements, and that's available by subscription over at thomhartmann.com. So check them all out at thomhartmann.com and hartmannreport.com.
We say fight back!
In the Free Speech TV fundraiser right now. It's Friday. I'm back. It's been a crazy morning. I'm sorry I was on BBC and all that. Anyway, we really need your help. Free Speech TV needs your help and needs your help right now. I mean, just look at the media landscape. Look at Jimmy Kimmel getting fired or getting suspended or whatever you want to call it. Stephen Colbert, same deal. This is dangerous stuff. We are entering some really, really dangerous territory with this administration that is, just aggressively trying to clamp down on free speech. I don't know how else to characterize it. And here we are, the Free Speech Network. And that's why we need your help. It just, it doesn't work without you. This network does not work without you. You fund it. It's a small organization that's just doing great and big work. So, and Trump didn't hijack the Republican Party, by the way. He finished its transformation into a tool for billionaires and corporate power. From Nixon to Reagan to Citizens United, they built the machine that made Trump possible. And now with projects like 2025, they're preparing to finish the job. That's why the book that I wrote, The Last American President, which you can get an autographed copy of with a $144 gift to Free Speech TV today, it matters. It lays out how this system was built, how Trump weaponized empathy's absence, and how his embrace of autocrats shattered America's standing in the world. But it also issues a call to reform, to resist, and to remember. Democracy isn't something we have, it's something we do together. And that's where our Free Speech TV family comes in. We're not just viewers, we're community, holding the line for truth and compassion in a media landscape bought and sold by corporations. We share the belief that democracy only works when people care about each other, and we're committed to making sure that message doesn't go dark. So I'm asking you to be part of that commitment. Make your pledge to Free Speech TV right now, 877-378-8669, or go to freespeech.org. The Last American President is available through Free Speech TV now, even before it's released to the public through this pledge. But what you'll really be doing is keeping truth alive, keeping democracy alive, keeping America alive. So please join this fight now. Call 877-378-8669 or go to freespeech.org right now. With a $20 gift, there's the mystery bumper sticker or the mystery tote bag. It may be more than $20. I'm not sure. Somebody told us that, but double check. With a $144 gift, there's the autographed copy of The Last American President. And today is double match day. Whatever you give will be double matched. Your $100 becomes $200. Your $50 becomes $100. Your $10 becomes $20. Your $1,000 becomes $2,000. With a $240 gift, I think I mentioned $144 for the Last American President, $240 gift, the virtual meet and greet. With a $250 gift, there's the mystery bundle. Free Speech has accumulated all these things over the years. With a $1,000 gift, there's the in-person meet and greet where you can come to Portland and hang out with us. So there's a lot of stuff, a lot of, some great premiums there. But most importantly, by contributing to Free Speech TV, you're literally donating your time and effort. This is your stepping up and saying, no, I'm in favor of free speech more generally, because Free Speech TV is where free speech is happening, where we dare to say the truth about what's going on, where we dare to challenge power, speak truth to power. It's getting more and more rare. More and more people are getting frightened and threatened. New York Times getting sued, their reporters getting sued, ABC getting sued, CBS getting sued. I mean, these are very, very dark times for this country. We're facing a very challenging time. So please call now, 877-378-8669, or go to freespeech.org and make your contribution, knowing that it will be doubled today. It's Friday, it's double match day. So please do whatever you can to help out, 877-378-8669, or go to freespeech.org and make your contribution now. There's some great premiums, but far more than that, you'll know that you are helping keep something really, really vital alive. So thank you so much, and onward with the program. It just, it doesn't work without you. This network does not work without you. You fund it. It's a small organization that's just doing great and big work. So, and Trump didn't hijack the Republican Party, by the way. He finished its transformation into a tool for billionaires and corporate power. From Nixon to Reagan to Citizens United, they built the machine that made Trump possible. And now with projects like 2025, they're preparing to finish the job. That's why the book that I wrote, The Last American President, which you can get an autographed copy of with a $144 gift to Free Speech TV today, it matters. It lays out how this system was built, how Trump weaponized empathy's absence, and how his embrace of autocrats shattered America's standing in the world. But it also issues a call to reform, to resist, and to remember. Democracy isn't something we have, it's something we do. together. And that's where our Free Speech TV family comes in.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
Welcome to the third hour of our program. You know, the first day of Trump's presidency, back on January 20th, he signed an executive order prohibiting any federal employee from pressuring private companies to censor anybody in ways that, quote, advance the government's preferred narrative about significant matters of public debate, end quote. He said he was doing it to combat misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. And it appears that that's exactly what's going on right now. You know, this is absolutely remarkable. The Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression is calling Trump out on this. His own executive order says, "Thou shalt not censor." Meanwhile, here in Portland, ICE has been, they've got this office building here downtown, and they have been, well, it's not actually downtown, it's, well, I don't need to dox it, although it's public knowledge. But it's not a jail. And they have been using it like one. They've been having people, they've apparently converted offices into places where people sleep on the floor or whatever. I don't know the details, but this is from from OPB, from the Oregon Public Broadcasting, our local NPR affiliate here in Portland. And this is a quote from a news release by the city of Portland. Quote, "Records indicate that detainees were held beyond the facility's 12-hour limit or kept overnight 25 times between October 1st of last year and July 27th of this year, which is a violation of their land use permit." And so the city said that as of yesterday, and I haven't seen a follow-up article, but I haven't read the Oregonian yet today, but they said that as of yesterday, they were going to notify ICE that they are in violation of the city's permit, occupancy permit. They've been there since 2011. They note the location is not a long-term detention facility, but rather a processing center. And this is what our mayor, Keith Wilson, Portland Mayor Keith Wilson, said, quote, "U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement made clear detention limitation commitments to our community, and we believe they broke those policies more than 24 times. I am proud of our team for conducting a thorough, thoughtful investigation and referring the matter to the next steps in the land use violation process." So will ICE follow the law? We'll see. And a geeky science for the day. This is fascinating. Now, this has to do with fruit flies. But the thing is that the axons and the neurons and the ganglions and all those little things in the brain of humans are identical largely to those little things in the brains of fruit flies. So the Chiba University in Japan just published this piece in PLOS Genetics, where they found that feeding fruit flies high-fat diets, this is the summary from studyfinds.org, in just 7 days, fruit flies on a high-fat diet struggled to remember things they had learned only hours earlier. The problem wasn't brain shrinkage, but a jammed-up cleanup crew inside neurons that normally recycles damaged cell parts. Intermediate and long-term memory were affected, while short-term memory, like instant recall, stayed intact. In other words, it has to do with certain parts of the brain. Short-term memory is more hippocamp. Well, I'm not a neurologist. I'll not go down that road. And when researchers boosted the cleanup process, memory function returned, suggesting that this might be reversible. And it's interesting. They did this through a bunch of different things. They turned off a protein called Rubicon, which slows down autophagy. They overactivated another protein, ATG1, which jumpstarts cleanup, or they fed them rapamycin, which is a drug that helps cells recycle waste. We've talked about that before. Rapamycin is the in drug right now among billionaires and movie stars to stay young forever. It helps the body. It activates the mTOR pathway or shuts it down, one or the other, and helps the body get rid of what are called senescent cells, cells that are just sitting around doing nothing except producing inflammation and consuming energy because they've gone beyond their lifetime, but they haven't self-destructed. and the body normally cleans these things up. So, interesting stuff. Now, it's this again. The study was not done on humans, but the idea that a fatty diet ain't good for you has been around for a long, long time. So much for the Atkins diet, right? All right, what's on your mind today? It's Anything Goes Weekend. Dave in Hale, Michigan. Hey, Dave, what's up?
Hi, Tom. Hey, a quick one for you that bugs me. In the spring of this year, you claimed that you knew somebody on Gunsmoke that was a deputy. Which one was it, Chester or Festus?
Yeah, Chester. Dennis Weaver was actually a good friend of mine.
Okay, was that leg bad normally, or was that fake?
His limp? You mean on Gunsmoke? That was just on Gunsmoke.
Yeah. Was that fake or was,
it was
that
fake.
real?
Yeah, no, it was.
Okay.
It was fake.
Okay. Hey, my topic is you've been all around different countries, right? I mean, in different things. And I worked from a guy that come from France. Mm-hmm. We built sleeper cells for semi trucks. Okay. Mm-hmm. And he was always there way before I got there at 6 o'clock, and then way after I left. Now he got talking, and he said, and he didn't want to pay us overtime. But what happened and he said that he says over in Europe, I don't know how true this is, but over in Europe, he says it's not uncommon for those people to work 12, 14, 15 hours a day. And is that how they're affording to pay for health care in those countries and stuff like that by low wages and flat?
No, I think he's blowing smoke
wages?
at you. They're able to afford health care in those countries. It costs half as much as it does here because they don't allow for-profit hospitals. They don't allow for-profit insurance companies, or at least as primary, as the primary source of health care. And I think this guy's blowing smoke, Dave. I mean, I lived in Germany for a year, and their labor laws are pretty rigid. I get it that some people in management, I mean, just like in the United States, if you're hourly, there's a different, not just a different pay structure, but a different set of rules about how how many hours you work. Whereas if you're salaried, you're not necessarily, unless you have a contract, you're not limited to 40 hours a week. So I think he's blowing smoke, Dave. Probably to try to get you to work more hours.
well, he was wanting to do that for sure. Yeah. Thanks, Tom, very much.
Okay, good talking to you, Dave. Thanks. Gene in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Hey, Gene, what's up?
Hey, how you doing, Tom?
Good.
Tom, I want to run something by you about fascism that I learned at a young age, and it's a real quick story. I ended up going to England. My dad served in World War II in the 101st Airborne, and he got wounded, and he was medevaced back to England. Mm-hmm. And he met my wife, my mom, and I ended up going back to England over the years, met all my relatives. They came over here. But when I was in I think 13, 14 years old, my grandfather, he worked for the British government. And what he did, he was an orchestra leader, but he worked for the government during the war. And they would reconstruct German airplanes when they crashed. Like he said, he said, lad, when you could watch, it was like a boxing fight. He said along Wales where the Spitfires and the Messerschmitts were fighting, and they would be cheering. You'd see planes go down. And one day we were talking. I said, well, were you fearful of what was going on in the war? He said, we were all scared and fearful until one day. And he told me this story where this young German pilot crash-landed this plane down by Wales somewhere. That's where they were at. Mm-hmm. And he said the medics went over because they tried to save the plane to reconstruct its advantages. Well, anyhow, when they were trying to get this pilot out, his arm went through the glass canopy. It was almost hanging off. He was bleeding profusely. And the medic came over and was putting a tourniquet on him, and he was only 20 years old. And the medic was trying to get his arm, and he was struggling, and he said something in German. The medic pulled back and looked at him, and my grandpap said, what did he say? He said, don't worry about this arm. I'll lose this arm for Hitler, too.
Wow.
It sent chills down my back.
Wow.
And I think today when Trump says this thing, remember when he said about the veterans?
Yeah.
My dad served in Bastogne, too. 3/4 of them guys were killed. Mm-hmm. That's how he came back to England, and that was the relationship. How my mom was his nurse again, and he brought her back and married her. But you know, I don't know how any veteran could support him at all.
Yeah. Well,
and,
5 deferments for bone spurs, really?
Right. Well, you know, the thing, too, what's ironic about this, when I got drafted in the 70s, I ended up going to Germany and served in the 2nd Cav. Our unit patrolled where Kohlberg was and Camp Border Town Hof, where it was like the Trizona.
Yeah, I used to live right down the road between Coburg and Hof in Steinach, near Kulmbach.
Well, they were beautiful. Those were beautiful towns.
Oh, yeah.
We were stationed in Bamberg.
Oh, yeah. We used to go to Bamberg for dinner.
Yeah, right. Well, our units would go, would work like 4 months, then come, or 4 weeks and come back. And I remember one day, the first time we got out to go see the border, and I took some pictures, and, you know, my young crew, we were all young, 20, 21 years old, and I thought about my grandpap, what he said, and how this can happen, and how these people, and I remember some people tried to escape one time, and we didn't see it actually happen at night, but they hung them on the fence and let them die.
Oh, my.
And this was, you know, we had the Bavarian border guard there, and one of the guys escaped from East Germany. He said he took the firing pins out of the other guards, and that's what he said when the German was, taking his interview.
Yeah.
Whatever. He said a lot of them people, what they do is if you have parents that are younger, they give those guards a lot more money and stuff. That's how it was lived over there if you worked for the government. But
no, I lived right on the border of East Germany, but I never saw anybody escape. I mean,
well, I didn't see it, but what happened, it happened in the night, and what they did, they knew what happened. He stepped on an anti-personnel mine, he got his foot blown off, and they let him die.
Yeah.
That's what because their dogs would go sometimes over and try to bring some of them back. But when you see this stuff, and Trump makes these statements, we were suckers and losers.
Yeah.
I think of my dad and all the veterans here. How in the heck can you vote for this buffoon?
Yeah, I got it. I got it. Gene, I got to run, but thank you. Yeah, and I remember those landmines. They used to in the spring when the ground would thaw, the landmines would blow up and wake us up in the morning. It's crazy. We'll be right back.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
That was, of course, back in the 1980s. Back with more of your calls in just a moment. It's Anything Goes Weekend. And welcome back. Prof in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Hey, Prof, what's up?
Hey, Tom, how you doing today?
I'm alive and kicking.
There you go. Yeah, Tom, do you realize that all the stuff that's been going down with Trump has roots in the drug war?
No, but it makes sense. You mean Nixon's drug war?
No, I'm talking about the drug war that's been going on ever since Nixon started it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, too, yeah. I mean, arguably, you could say it goes back to Harry Anslinger and using drugs as an excuse to go after black people back in the 19-teens and 20s. But
right. But what I'm talking about is what's been going on ever since then. And like, for instance, these ICE agents running around and taking people and putting them in jail and all that, that's been going on for a long time with drug, things going on where they bust into your house, no warrants, and do whatever they want to do, and you don't know who did what because they're unnamed. They're what I'm saying. And no Fourth Amendment rights.
Yep.
This and look what he did. He started tariffs on our friendly neighbors. For instance, Canada.
Yep.
He said that they were sending fentanyl over here.
Yeah, which is a joke. Mexico. We're sending fentanyl there.
And then Mexico, they said, they're criminals from Mexico. What's he really talking about? He's talking about cocaine dealers.
Yeah.
He's talking about drug dealers.
Yep.
And where does he send these people? He sends them to El Salvador, to the worst prison in the world. Where they got in their prison? Drug people.
Yeah,
People
it's
that
not even a
had
prison; it's a
dealt with
concentration camp. There's no way to get out. There's no rule of law in El Salvador. It's being run by a dictator by the name of Bukele.
Here, let me read something real quick. In June 2011, the Global Commission on Drug Policy released a critical report declaring the global war on drugs has failed, with devastating consequences for individuals and society. That's us.
Yeah.
Around the world. In 2023, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights stated that decades of punitive war on drugs strategies has failed to prevent an increasing range and quantity of substances from being produced and consumed.
Yeah.
In that year, the federal drug war budget reached $39 billion, with combined spending since 1971 estimated at $1 trillion.
Yeah, and look at what Ehrlichman, John Ehrlichman said. He was tracked down by a reporter,
I remember that.
And he said, we wanted to take on the hippies, the anti-war hippies, and the black people, but you couldn't outlaw being anti-war or being black. So what we did was, we outlawed heroin to go after black people and marijuana to go after the hippies. And that way we could disrupt their communities and destroy their leaders.
Exactly. I've got that in my report here. But the point I'm trying to make is that there's only one way to end this type of what the Republicans are doing right now, and that is to end the drug war.
Well, it's gone beyond that now, Prof.
The parents are responsible for their children.
No, I get all that, but it's gone way beyond the drug war now. We're now entering, full-on fascism, full-on censorship. Prof, thanks for the call. Full-on oligarchy, billionaires controlling basically everything in America. We'll be right back. Missed my opening rant today? It's usually published over at HartmannReport.com, where you can read it and share it with your friends for free. Check it out, HartmannReport.com. So between his tax cuts and crashing the debt ceiling and shifting billions of Treasury dollars into crypto and tariffs and all this other stuff, Trump is threatening to crash our economy. And he doesn't seem to be particularly worried about that. Why would that be? Well, first off, economic disasters are great excuses to cut taxes. Both Reagan and George W. Bush used recessions as their excuse to stimulate the economy by cutting trillions from the taxes of billionaires. Secondly, economic crises increase the tolerance for strongman governments. Hitler rode to power in Europe based on the Great Depression. And third, billionaires make a fortune when there's a market crash because they can buy all the stock that average people are trying to unload from their 401ks to pay the damn rent. There's a whole article about this that lays the whole thing out over at HartmannReport.com. It's titled Crashing the Economy, Trump's Blueprint for Power and Profit. Check it out. Welcome back. 24 minutes past the hour. Picking up your calls here. Mike in Chicago. Hey, Mike, what's up?
Hi. The last couple of calls relate to my point, and the very last thing you said. One of the things you have taught us, the consequence of unbridled neoliberalism is ultimately fascism. You kind of said that even before Trump.
Yeah, it becomes oligarchy and then it transitions into fascism. Yeah.
Yeah, and right, and you just said we're at all-out oligarchy now, and with proto-fascism, more than proto, happening right before us. And I wanted to bring that up to everybody, remind everybody. You said that, and you also gave as part of your explanation of that, or we had an object case of that when the wall did come down. Gorbachev, you said in a previous episode, wanted to have Russia to be something like Sweden.
Yes, Gorbachev himself used that. He said Sweden. He said that's his model.
Yeah, so you said, but the Americans, Bush one, that one entity that doles out money, I forgot what it's called. They said no, you got to have neoliberalism, right?
That's correct.
Corporate.
We sent Milton Friedman's guys over there to Russia to help them reform their economy. And they did what they called shock therapy, which I think is what's next for America, where basically all government property, not all, but virtually all government property, all the housing and businesses were sold off, mostly to oligarchs. Everybody was given a coupon, and the coupons became a medium of exchange. It's a whole long story, but it's fascinating.
Right. And now it's like in 20, 30 years, it went from potentially being Sweden to what we see right now, an all-out autocracy with Putin and a collection of a few oligarchs who got all the pieces, like some kind of feudalistic kingdoms. Yes, and so, and I call that Trump is trying, for the Putinization of America. That's what he's working. Yep. And then the thing that I wanted to say, the thing that kind of got me going initially was the Kimmel firing, and as well as Colbert firing. And that also is a kind of an adverse effect of this unbridled neoliberalism, particularly, in 1996 when Clinton signed bipartisan.
Yeah, the Telecommunications Act. That was a disaster. Mike, I'm out of time, but you're absolutely right. Thank you. You nailed it. 27 minutes past the hour. I'll be back with more of your calls on the other side of this break here at the bottom of the hour. It's the Thom Hartmann program. Speaking the truth, the multinational corporations and right-wing billionaires would really rather you didn't know all about. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann program. Call 202-808-9925.
It's talk media for those of us who still believe in democracy. Stick around. In the Free Speech TV fundraiser right now. It's Friday. I'm back. It's been a crazy morning. I'm sorry I was on BBC and all that. Anyway, we really need your help. Free Speech TV needs your help and needs your help right now. Just look at the media landscape. Look at Jimmy Kimmel getting fired or getting suspended or whatever you want to call it. Stephen Colbert, same deal. This is dangerous stuff. We are entering some really, really dangerous territory with this administration that is, just aggressively trying to clamp down on free speech. I don't know how else to characterize it. And here we are, the Free Speech Network. And that's why we need your help. It just, it doesn't work without you. This network does not work without you. You fund it. It's a small organization that's just doing great and big work. So, and Trump didn't hijack the Republican Party, by the way. He finished its transformation into a tool for billionaires and corporate power. From Nixon to Reagan to Citizens United, they built the machine that made Trump possible. And now with projects like 2025, they're preparing to finish the job. That's why the book that I wrote, The Last American President, which you can get an autographed copy of with a $144 gift to Free Speech TV today, it matters. It lays out how this system was built, how Trump weaponized empathy's absence, and how his embrace of autocrats shattered America's standing in the world. But it also issues a call to reform, to resist, and to remember. Democracy isn't something we have, it's something we do together. And that's where our Free Speech TV family comes in. We're not just viewers, we're community, holding the line for truth and compassion in a media landscape bought and sold by corporations. We share the belief that democracy only works when people care about each other, and we're committed to making sure that message doesn't go dark. So I'm asking you to be part of that commitment. Make your pledge to Free Speech TV right now, 877-378-8669, or go to freespeech.org. The Last American President is available through Free Speech TV now, even before it's released to the public through this pledge. But what you'll really be doing is keeping truth alive, keeping democracy alive, keeping America alive. So please join this fight now. Call 877-378-8669 or go to freespeech.org right now. With a $20 gift, there's the mystery bumper sticker or the mystery tote bag. It may be more than $20. I'm not sure. Somebody told us that, but double check. With a $144 gift, there's the autographed copy of The Last American President. And today is double match day. Whatever you give will be double matched. Your $100 becomes $200. Your $50 becomes $100. Your $10 becomes $20. Your $1,000 becomes $2,000. With a $240 gift, I think I mentioned $144 for the Last American President, $240 gift, the virtual meet and greet. With a $250 gift, there's the mystery bundle. Free Speech has accumulated all these things over the years. With a $1,000 gift, there's the in-person meet and greet where you can come to Portland and hang out with us. So there's a lot of stuff, a lot of some great premiums there. But most importantly, by contributing to Free Speech TV, you're literally donating your time and effort. This is your stepping up and saying, no, I'm in favor of free speech more generally, because Free Speech TV is where free speech is happening, where we dare to say the truth about what's going on, where we dare to challenge power, speak truth to power. It's getting more and more rare. More and more people are getting frightened and threatened. New York Times getting sued, their reporters getting sued, ABC getting sued, CBS getting sued. I mean, these are very, very dark times for this country. We're facing a very challenging time. So please call now, 877-378-8669, or go to freespeech.org and make your contribution, knowing that it will be doubled today. It's Friday, it's double match day. So please do whatever you can to help out, 877-378-8669, or go to freespeech.org and make your contribution now. There's some great premiums, but far more than that, you'll know that you are helping keep something really, really vital alive. So thank you so much, and onward with the program. It just, it doesn't work without you. This network does not work without you. You fund it. It's a small organization that's just doing great and big work. So, and Trump didn't hijack the Republican Party, by the way. He finished its transformation into a tool for billionaires and corporate power. From Nixon to Reagan to Citizens United, they built the machine that made Trump possible. And now with projects like 2025, they're preparing to finish the job. That's why the book that I wrote, The Last American President, which you can get an autographed copy of with a $144 gift to Free Speech TV today, it matters. It lays out how this system was built, how Trump weaponized empathy's absence, and how his embrace of autocrats shattered America's standing in the world. But it also issues a call to reform, to resist, and to remember. Democracy isn't something we have, it's something we do together. And that's where our Free Speech TV family comes in. Help support progressive radio. If you're listening to us on a commercial station, call their advertisers and let them know you're listening. If you're listening to us on Pacifica, one of our many nonprofit stations, please support them when they do their fundraising drives. Thanks for supporting Progressive Talk Radio, and tag you're it. Way back in 1964, when Lyndon Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, the Republicans started this rant about how the election of 1960, Jock Kennedy stole that election, and there's voter fraud in America. And it became a thing. They started this thing called Operation Eagle Eye. William Rehnquist was running it in Arizona, trying to intimidate Hispanics and African Americans into not voting, essentially. They've now used this claim that non-citizens are voting, this voter fraud claim, in virtually every red state to make it harder to vote, to purge people off the voting rolls, to make people's votes not counted with their exact signature matches. It's a scam. It's a grift that they've been running for 60 years, and the American media won't call them out on it. There's a whole piece about it called Trump and the GOP's Big Lie 2.0 over at HartmannReport.com. Please check it out. You'll find it fascinating. 35 minutes past the hour, picking up your calls here. Bob in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. Hey, Bob, what's up?
Hello, Tom.
Hey.
Well, I just try to be brief as I can. We are not Russia.
Yet.
We are not Hungary.
Yet.
We are not Russia, we are not Hungary. We're not going to be Russia or Hungary.
No, we'll do it in an American way, as Sinclair Lewis said. He said when fascism comes to America, it'll be carrying a cross and a flag and and a Bible, basically.
Well, I think we're a little behind the curve on that. The situation, you wouldn't have a drug war unless you already had fascism in place.
Well, the drug war was corrupt. I mean, as John Ehrlichman, John Ehrlichman, laid out, that it was all about going after black people and anti-war hippies.
Well, I mean, it's deeper than this. It's deeper than this. Much deeper. Much deeper. The situation is, you sometimes in a society that's well organized, obviously, you would have to have police. You would have to have military. The question is, what's the police and the military used for?
Mm-hmm.
And all through time, we've had to consider the situations at hand. I grew up in a home where, my parents were fairly much pacifists. My dad was a Quaker. He was also a social worker, and this is his career was plagued with constant, and I mean constant, attack from up above. He was a good man. He did what he could to help people, and the thing about it is people want to fly this flag and call it democracy. I think more like my mother, who was fairly skeptical about things. She's pretty intelligent, though. And she said, we don't have democracy. We're working towards it all the time. And so I think you have a lot of things going on that people don't want to discuss. There is a need for police and military. The question is, what are they doing? What are they going to do? Yeah. Are they going to interfere with good works? Because if they're going to interfere with good works, okay, enough said there, and then I'll jump to this.
I get it. No, let me jump to something here, Bob. We're getting close, Bob. Thank you. We're getting close to the point where the people over at Fox News, Lachlan Murdoch and Rupert, have to start thinking, if you don't suck up to Trump enough, you're in trouble. And there's never enough. You can't flatter him too much. And at some point, Fox News is going to not be flattering him enough, or they're going to say something that he takes offense to. It's already happened in small ways where he's gotten pissed off at them for a few weeks, or, in fact, he sued Murdoch over the Wall Street Journal, outing his birthday letter to Jeffrey Epstein. At some point, these conservatives, these Republicans, are going to come to the realization that the equivalent of Republicans in Germany in 1933 came to, which is, holy crap, we've crossed the Rubicon. We can no longer have any independence whatsoever. And they're going to have to fight back. They're going to have to push back. They're going to have to sound the alarm. They're going to have to join the rest of us and say, this has gone too far. Because if Trump can shut down CBS, NBC, ABC, Trump can shut down Fox. They're acting like they don't believe it. But, that's as real a possibility as anything else. Thanks a lot for the call, Bob. CJ in Shreveport, Louisiana. Hey, CJ, what's on your mind?
Hey, well, the thing I was told Mateo I was going to talk about was kind of depressing, but while I was on hold, I was listening to you do a book read, and apparently I was listening to the radio version of the show.
Yeah, you were.
Instead of the YouTube that I usually do. And that was a book about, the book of Revelation and stuff. And boy, would I have some stuff to say about that. I'm going to go back to what Mateo was talking about. Because, something I saw online, somebody posted this on a forum that I see, and I have to say it, I think it's true. We would have been much better off now if Biden hadn't won in 2020.
I'm not sure that's true. I think if Trump had won re-election, that we'd be where we are right now 1 year into it.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Here's why. Number one, it would have been continuation of his previous administration, which means the guardrails and stuff.
Yeah.
Pence would have still been vice president, not J.D. Vance.
Well, that's a good point.
There wouldn't have been Project 2025.
Yep.
There wouldn't have been the election denialism because he would have won the election. Therefore,
Yep.
there wouldn't have been all this big hyper stuff. There wouldn't have been the January 6th.
You're absolutely right, CJ. Okay, you just changed my mind.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a hypothetical, so.
The cabinet, think about that. I mean,
Yeah.
sure, we had Cruella DeVos as Secretary of Education, but we didn't have Pete Hegseth as Secretary of Defense, and
Correct.
RFK Jr., and,
HHS, yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. No, your point is well taken. And yeah. But here we are. We've got to deal with what's in front of us. CJ, thanks for the call. Jeff in Portland. Hey, Jeff, what's on your mind today?
Happy Friday, Tom. Thanks for all you do. Glad you're doing well. And I agree with your assertion that the silencing of Jimmy Kimmel is going to really hit home for most Americans. I think he's more of an average Joe everyman. And, you know, his show, compared to Colbert, who still has a year to go, Jimmy's was, you know, yanked off the air. So, I mean, that was quite a jolt, I hope to most people. And to your point, Tom, I think it's becoming clear every day that our country is being run by a gang of greedy, malevolent, self-serving troglodytes, and they don't just want to drag us back to the 1950s. They're aiming more for the 1850s Confederacy.
Yep.
So we need Democratic Party leadership to rise up and meet the moment. And I think a platform of freedom, peace, and affordability is the way to go. And while that starts with exposing how fraudulent Trump is on all those fronts, it's also presenting ourselves as the real champions of free speech and a free press, stopping the flow of weapons to Israel, winning in ICE, ending the gun violence epidemic here at home, and taking on the cost of living crisis with Medicare for All, heavy investments in affordable housing, universal child care, and clean energy. And in regard to clean energy, I urge everyone to read Bill McKibben's recent Substack, A Tale of Two Countries, to see what China is doing. They're eating our lunch.
Oh, it's mind-boggling.
And it really, and they're what they're doing in the world is bigger than what we did with the Marshall Plan.
Yep.
And Tom, finally, so your thoughts about all that, and in regards to the budget showdown, do you think the Democratic Party focus on healthcare is too narrow, or do you think that's a big enough issue to resonate and win the narrative?
I think this is going to play out in one of two ways, Jeff. Number one, I don't think the Republicans are going to play ball at all. So this is now, it's passed the House, it's gone to the Senate, and Schumer is saying, we're not going to play unless you will pull back, on your cuts to Medicare and Medicaid. And the Republicans are saying, screw you, we ain't going to do it. So one of two things is going to happen. Either the government is going to shut down because the Republicans can't break a Democratic filibuster, or, and I think this is more likely, John Thune is going to blow up the filibuster. And that's what I'm expecting is going to happen. Although the Republicans may think that there's a political advantage to them in allowing the government to shut down, at least for a few weeks. It'll give Trump a lot of opportunity to rail about Democrats and all this kind of stuff. And the reality is, the simple reality is, most of our media, it leans heavily toward the Republican side. So the Republican narrative will be the dominant narrative, which is that the Democrats are shutting down the government. And the story of why they're shutting down the government is not going to get told well. So we'll see how this plays out, but those are the two scenarios, and I'm guessing that Thune is just going to blow up the filibuster. We'll see. What do you think?
Well, how would he blow up the filibuster?
It just takes 50 votes. That's all you have. It's easy.
Oh, I got you.
This is the same way that, this is what Schumer tried to do when Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema stabbed us in the back by saying, no, I won't blow up the filibuster. So that's my guess. We'll see. Jeff, it's always nice hearing from you. Thanks for the call. 45 minutes past the hour.
You're listening to Thom Hartmann. Visit thomhartmann.com for audio and video archives.
I think I mentioned earlier, but a judge threw out Trump's $15 billion lawsuit against the New York Times. He didn't throw it out. He gave him basically a month to clean it up. We'll see. And welcome back. Ziggy in Oneonta, New York. Hey, Ziggy, what's up?
Hey, Tom, I'm calling about the word Antifa. And in 2020, Trump labeled it as a terrorist organization. Biden never rescinded that. So his calling it, now renaming it a terrorist organization again, is more political than legal. And I know that myself because in the last 5 years, if I try to print anything that says Antifa on it, the censors will not allow me to do it because it's considered a terrorist organization.
Really? That's interesting. For your,
I had my shirt
End Bribes website where you're selling T-shirts and hats and stuff. That's incredible.
Yeah, more and more stuff is being. I mean, I had some stuff taken down earlier this week and stuff. But no, I'm not allowed to use the word Antifa on anything that I do because it's a terrorist organization. So I just want to let you know that, you know.
All right.
It's part of the censorship. You know, join the club. Me and Jimmy Kimmel, we're in it, you know.
I get it.
Being censored. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Ziggy. Good talking to you. Tom in Media, Pennsylvania. Hey, Tom, what's up?
Yeah, Tom, I just got Joe Manchin's book called Dead Center. And I will, well, truth be told, I'm a fan of Joe Manchin. He's a moderate. And you remember in terms of breaking the filibuster, boy, did they pressure him to break the filibuster for some voting laws, and boy, they went after him. And, you know, the hysterics, like, if we don't vote these laws, we're going to lose our democracy, that kind of stuff.
And that's what happened.
Well, he held tight. The democracy is not dead, or why were we fighting for it now? You know, it's ridiculous. And he held tight and firm. He did not break the filibuster. So I think this is going to make it much more difficult for the Republicans not to break the filibuster because they don't have a Harry Reid. So, you know, I'm a fan of Joe Manchin. If he would have ran for president rather than Biden or Harris, I think he would have won because he was a moderate. Middle class people like him.
He wasn't a moderate. He was a shill for the fossil fuel industry. Come on, Tom, tell the truth.
He was a moderate. You just don't like him. Besides, he ran the Democratic Party the first 2 years. He got them the infrastructure bill, and it was his bill that they called the Inflation Reduction Act. They're just furious at him because he didn't vote in the BBB and break the filibuster. But I think he did a good thing, and I think the middle class likes him a lot for what he did. I mean, you might.
So you think that I'm not going to debate Joe Manchin with you. You know my opinions of him. I used to live in the same arena with him. So you think that the Republicans will let the Democrats shut down the government and blame them, and that's how it's going to play out? That's your opinion, Tom?
I think they're going to do that, and I think they're also going to put out there they're not going to vote in for retroactive pay. That will really pressure the Democrats because then their own workers are going to say, hey, stop this. And, there's no law that says they have to get retroactive pay. I think they're going to use that weapon, too, to be honest with you.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys, the GOP, these Republicans know how to play hardball. There's no doubt about that, particularly when they're defending the interests of rich people and the fossil fuel industry. I totally get it.
I don't think they're going to break the filibuster. I really don't. I think they don't have a Harry Reid. Joe Manchin did not turn into the Harry Reid, which allowed the Supreme Court votes.
Well, we haven't had enough John Thune around to really know. So it's going to be interesting. We'll find out in a couple of weeks. Tom, thanks for the call. 49 minutes, almost 50 minutes, almost 10 minutes before the hour. Stick around. We'll be right back. Hey, thanks so much for sharing our program and for reaching out to our stations and sponsors and letting them know that you're listening. It really means a lot to us. Did you know that the ancient Roman Republic, which for 480 years was actually a democratic republic before Julius Caesar kind of ended the democracy phase and replaced it with the autocracy phase, that they were brought down by a very small group of very rich people. The richest man in ancient Rome was Marcus Licinius Crassus. He was the richest guy, the billionaire of Rome. And he frankly hated the Roman free bread for all welfare system. It was being paid for with his tax dollars, after all. So him and Pompey the Great and a few other rich guys got together, and they basically crashed Rome. They turned it into an oligarchy and then into a tyranny. And the parallels to what Trump is doing right now are absolutely shocking. There's an article about it over at HartmannReport.com titled "American Caesar: Trump's Path to Power Mirrors Rome's Darkest Days." Check it out. Welcome back. 9 minutes before the hour. Picking up your calls here. Bill in Clinton, New Jersey. Hey, Bill, what's on your mind?
Yeah, hi. Here in New Jersey, we've had probably the strictest gun laws in the country, and they banned assault rifles in like 1994, one of the first states to do it. And it was controversial. Florio lost his second term over it to Christine Todd Whitman. But New Jersey is probably the fourth least crime in the nation, which is pretty good for 9 million people. And there have only been about 4 or 5 mass shootings since 1948.
Wow.
And someone challenged last year, went to a district judge, and he decided that New Jersey should have assault rifles. He said they shouldn't have high-capacity magazines. I guess he was splitting the baby or something. And the next couple of weeks, that's up for going on appeal. I didn't know that a federal judge could overrule the New Jersey legislature or any state legislature, because if they can, they're going to do it every state that bans guns.
Oh, they can and they will. The Supremacy Clause of the Constitution says that when state law conflicts with federal laws, federal law rules. And the federal law right now is the Heller decision and its children.
Right. And you were mentioning something about the filibuster. The first one was in Rome under Cato the Elder, who held the floor because they were supposed to end their sessions at sundown every day. He held the floor to prevent a vote, and the vote was on allowing Julius Caesar to cross the Rubicon.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And he's probably the biggest conservative of all of them.
Caesar transformed Rome. That's fascinating, Bill. Thank you for the history lesson for today. I appreciate it. Ray in Riverside, California. Hey, Ray, what's up? Ray? I'm not hearing you. Ray is going once.
Yeah, no, Tom.
Okay.
I'm here. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Oh, thank you, Ray.
I really appreciate your show, and I've got one idea, one thought that I wanted to share, and I wish Free Speech TV would just reach out to these nighttime talk show hosts, invite them to come, bring their staff, bring their best people. It would be a shot in the arm.
The Midas Touch people did that already, publicly.
Yeah.
They reached out to Stephen Colbert and they're reaching out to Jimmy Kimmel. It's just that, the reach and the wealth associated with Midas Touch or with Free Speech TV, we've got substantial audiences and all that kind of thing, but not the big bucks. And it would be such a step down for Kimmel or Colbert. My guess is they'll just retire, but who knows? Who knows?
It's a wish.
Yeah, there you go. Ray, thanks a lot. That was a good one. Terry in Chateau, Oklahoma. Am I saying it right, Terry?
Yes, Tom, second-time caller. I was wondering if you could educate me here a little bit. I understand you're a Coptic Christian, and I'm trying to find some root source wording for the Coptic Ethiopian Bible that has additional books that the Christians don't have. And I can with the Greek Septuagint, I can get the root wording and deeper English meaning.
Terry, let me just stop you there. The Coptic church that I attended and ultimately was ordained in was started by a renegade Coptic priest, an Orthodox Coptic priest by the name of Hamid Bey, who came over here from Egypt in the 1930s and hooked up with a guy named Paramahansa Yogananda, and the two of them traveled around the country for about 5-6 years. And then he started the Coptic Fellowship. It's a Christian church, but it's not the Orthodox Coptic Church. So I don't know very much about that, Terry. I'm sorry, and so I just can't help you. Sean in Hot Springs Village, Arkansas. Hey, Sean, what's on your mind?
Hey, Tom. Happy Friday, first of all.
Thanks.
And I just wanted to let you know that my husband and I just canceled our Disney subscription.
Apparently there's a lot of that going on.
And we're going to also do Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
Because for us, we feel the only way to hit them is in the pocketbook.
Yeah. There's a movement. There's a movement.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because I watch you guys. I watch all day long Free Speech TV. Mm-hmm. And I just get so mad. And because our free speech is at,
we're in dire straits. We're in dire straits. Sean, thank you for the call. It's nice to hear from you. I appreciate it. Hey, special thanks to Louise Hartman, Sean Taylor, Nate Atwell, Jamie Holly, Nigel Peacock, Sue Nethercott, Patrick Hoyt, Geraldine Halbert, Ron Hartenbaum, Chase Sprost, Nicholas Miller, Pat Sweeney, Jeremy Peterson, Connor Arroyo, Carna Verde, Martha Salinas, Mateo Robertson, Diane Russell, and Ruben Michaels, all the fine folks who work on this program. And thank you to you for participating. Don't forget, get out there, get active, tag you're it. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, and I'll catch up with you on Monday.
For audio and video archives, visit thomhartmann.com.
In the Free Speech TV fundraiser right now. It's Friday. I'm back. It's been a crazy morning. I'm sorry I was on BBC and all that. Anyway, we really need your help. Free Speech TV needs your help and needs your help right now. Just look at the media landscape. Look at Jimmy Kimmel getting fired or getting suspended or whatever you want to call it. Stephen Colbert, same deal. This is dangerous stuff. We are entering some really, really dangerous territory with this administration that is, just aggressively trying to clamp down on free speech. I don't know how else to characterize it. And here we are, the Free Speech Network. And that's why we need your help. It just, it doesn't work without you. This network does not work without you. You fund it. It's a small organization that's just doing great and big work. So, and Trump didn't hijack the Republican Party, by the way. He finished its transformation into a tool for billionaires and corporate power. From Nixon to Reagan to Citizens United, they built the machine that made Trump possible. And now with projects like 2025, they're preparing to finish the job. That's why the book that I wrote, The Last American President, which you can get an autographed copy of with a $144 gift to Free Speech TV today, it matters. It lays out how this system was built, how Trump weaponized empathy's absence, and how his embrace of autocrats shattered America's standing in the world. But it also issues a call to reform, to resist, and to remember. Democracy isn't something we have, it's something we do together. And that's where our Free Speech TV family comes in. We're not just viewers, we're community, holding the line for truth and compassion in a media landscape bought and sold by corporations. We share the belief that democracy only works when people care about each other, and we're committed to making sure that message doesn't go dark. So I'm asking you to be part of that commitment. Make your pledge to Free Speech TV right now, 877-378-8669, or go to freespeech.org. The Last American President is available through Free Speech TV now, even before it's released to the public through this pledge. But what you'll really be doing is keeping truth alive, keeping democracy alive, keeping America alive. So please join this fight now. Call 877-378-8669 or go to freespeech.org right now. With a $20 gift, there's the mystery bumper sticker or the mystery tote bag. It may be more than $20. I'm not sure. Somebody told us that, but double check. With a $144 gift, there's the autographed copy of The Last American President. And today is double match day. Whatever you give will be double matched. Your $100 becomes $200. Your $50 becomes $100. Your $10 becomes $20. Your $1,000 becomes $2,000. For the $240 gift, I think I mentioned $144 for the Last American President, $240 gift, the virtual meet and greet. With a $250 gift, there's the mystery bundle. Free Speech has accumulated all these things over the years. With a $1,000 gift, there's the in-person meet and greet where you can come to Portland and hang out with us. So there's a lot of stuff, a lot of some great premiums there. But most importantly, by contributing to Free Speech TV, you're literally donating your time and effort. This is your stepping up and saying, no, I'm in favor of free speech more generally, because Free Speech TV is where free speech is happening, where we dare to say the truth about what's going on, where we dare to challenge power, speak truth to power. It's getting more and more rare. More and more people are getting frightened and threatened. New York Times getting sued, their reporters getting sued, ABC getting sued, CBS getting sued. I mean, these are very, very dark times for this country. We're facing a very challenging time. So please call now, 877-378-8669, or go to freespeech.org and make your contribution, knowing that it will be doubled today. It's Friday, it's double match day. So please do whatever you can to help out, 877-378-8669, or go to freespeech.org and make your contribution now. There's some great premiums, but far more than that, you'll know that you are helping keep something really, really vital alive. So thank you so much, and onward with the program. It just, it doesn't work without you. This network does not work without you. You fund it. It's a small organization that's just doing great and big work. So, and Trump didn't hijack the Republican Party, by the way. He finished its transformation into a tool for billionaires and corporate power. From Nixon to Reagan to Citizens United, they built the machine that made Trump possible. And now with projects like 2025, they're preparing to finish the job. That's why the book that I wrote, The Last American President, which you can get an autographed copy of with a $144 gift to Free Speech TV today, it matters. It lays out how this system was built, how Trump weaponized empathy's absence, and how his embrace of autocrats shattered America's standing in the world. But it also issues a call to reform, to resist, and to remember. Democracy isn't something we have, it's something we do together. And that's where our Free Speech TV family comes in.